Good evening, everyone. Hiya, Tim. Hiya, Amjad. How are you? Well, hiya, Brissy. How are you? From what I can gather, they've just got onto M1. So it's going to be about midnight by the time they get back. So, but they've had a good time. They've had a brilliant day out. Yeah, they lost, but, you know, they went for experience. They were under no illusions that they were going to win. So, your nose, bro. So yeah. You see, the thing is, they got tickets, and then right at like yesterday or the day before, they managed to get coach tickets. So at least there's one thing: Chris hadn't had to drive. So yeah. But after the match, Chris and Callum were sat on coach for above an hour, waiting for all the stragglers to come in. Hi, Gary. So yeah, and then when they were coming out at car park, the police were doing directions and only letting so many out at a time. So, ooh, coconut cookies. Ooh, hiya, Jay. So yeah, from what I can gather, they've had a good day. Chris's nerves are shot because he's only, and his coffee is suffering withdrawal. So best about it though, he says to me, "Hey, yeah, hiya, sweetheart." I'm just telling everybody it took you an hour to get out at car park. Oh, you've got sound on low. Never mind. Ooh. Hi, Kathy. How are you? So, yeah. I says to him, I says, well, why don't you try and have a kip or something? He says, you want to hear it on bus? So, yeah, it's they've had the experience. They've had, they've had a day at Wembley, albeit a bit expensive. Hiya, Gordo. When they got there, Chris bought two burgers, 2 cans of Coke, £22. Hi, Kirsty. How are you? Yeah, expensive. And then they actually went in ground and they went up on this, I don't know, escalator thing, and pint. So because they were early and they went in sort of early doors, £10 for 2 pints. Yeah, more or less, Gordo. £10 for 2 pints, right? So then when they went again, they'd gone up to £13 something. So yeah, the only Chris says, like, that's it. We're having 2 pints and that's it. But that's the thing. I suppose people were dawdling about and having a look round Wembley or whatever, but they were having to wait on bus for all stragglers. as long as it don't break down, So he says then they were like coming out and coppers were only letting so many out at a time. So yeah, he had a nice tour of the car park, or a nice view of the car park, should I say. But you know, it's experience. That, you know, that's basically, they were under no, you know, assumptions that they were going to win. But they did. Chris said they did all right to say they were playing Man City. So. Oh well, time to get his foot down. You're desperate for a cup of coffee. So yeah, but they only had they had two burgers, 2 cans of Coke, 22 quid. Then they had 2 pint, which were another tenner. Hiya, Bria, how are you? And then next time they went, it was 13 quid. So all in all, like, you know, 50, 60 quid. And that were, you know, ooh. Ooh. So everything's more or less done now then, Gordo. Hi, Crypto. Oh, okie dokie then, sweetheart. I'll see you. See you whenever. Pardon me. Somebody said hello to Crypto, and I've just scrolled back and she's not here. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome, Brissy. Same as I say, this is the thing. We've all got to start somewhere. Hi, Crypto. How are you? Now she's in. It must be lagging on my side. I think it goes live about 8 o'clock, Amjad. I hope not either. As much as he's enjoyed it, Gary, it's been a long old day. You know, he's been on bus for about 3.5 hours there. And obviously he's a smoker, so we were gasping by the time, you know, they arrived at Wembley. And he only had a coffee this morning, so he's suffering coffee withdrawal as well. But yeah. Anyway, guys, links up there. Anybody want to come on panel? Oh. But yeah, Chris told me that if they win on Wednesday night, that they're definitely up. So he's hoping, keep your fingers crossed. So, but yeah, I mean, I sent Brissy a link, and it's Australia's best recipes or something. Some fantastic recipes on there. I use them quite a lot. But it sort of just popped up in my email, and I sent it to Brissy. So yeah, and we're making 2 things on Tuesday. Chocolate malt Whopper drops and Milky Way bar cupcakes. Hiya, Jay. So,
hey, how's everybody doing?
So yeah, that's what we're making. One of the things, anyway, the cookies. In America they call them Whoppers, but we call them Maltesers. And that's the other thing, Milky Way bar cupcakes.
Nice.
thought I was buzzing then. But yeah, been a bit of a mare. Chris getting at it. I've just got to show you this. Callum fast asleep. Yeah, Callum on coach. It looks like he's nodded off. Oh dear.
Who won the game?
Manchester City, unfortunately. But
all right, well, all right, that's good. That's who I was rooting for.
One
but
of them things. They were under no illusion that they were going to win, but they'd just gone for experience. Wembley and being in semi-finals at FA Cup. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're a legendary team.
But yeah, it's not disappointed. Yeah, it's disappointed that they didn't win, but it were under no illusions before they even went that they were going to win.
What was the score again?
3-0.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Gordo said if that had been a lad's day away, he would have had trainers on his head. Oh, yeah. Gary Ross says shitty city. Or his eyebrows shaved.
Yeah, 1 sec. I gotta grab my glasses so I can see y'all.
Oh, dear. But yeah, you know what I mean? It's gone. But yeah, really, I mean, they've had a long day. You know what I mean? They were up at 6. It's not sort of on doorstep. It's about 3.5 hours away, I think it is. So they've had that. They got on coach about 10 o'clock this morning. You may ask why he got up at 6, because he'd got to take biscuit and do this, that, and other, and they got on coach at 10 o'clock. But to get on coach at 10 o'clock, rather than Chris drive down there because he got on at Utility Arena. I'll tell him that when he comes back, Gordo. But yeah, so they got the tram from here, because it's like just back here, 5-minute walk. So they got the tram to the Utility Arena to save Chris driving at all. No. What happened there? Did you press the wrong button?
Nah, stupid internet again.
Oh.
All good. I'm here.
But yeah, so these coach tickets were last minute thing. So you see up top here we've got a tram stop. So basically they went to the place where they were going on the coach via tram, because it stopped right outside. So yeah, so actually once they get off the coach, yeah, they've got to get tram back here. Let's just hope they haven't stopped running by the time he gets back. It looks like I'm walking. I'd say at least midnight, Gordo. At least midnight. I'll be surprised if they are back before midnight. They've only just got on M1. So,
all right, guys, I got to step out. So it was great talking to y'all.
Yeah, I'll see you later, Jay.
Yeah, thank you, everyone. Hey, great channel. I love it.
Yeah.
Love this channel. Love all the people on here, too. Take care.
Yeah, you too. Bye. So, it all depends. Some as I say, if any to go by, they were waiting on coach an hour, and then the police were staggering like how many there were in Hart. So, you know, it could be midnight, could be later. So it's one of them things, Gordo, how long's a piece of string? So, but yeah. It got some good seats, though. You could see everything, all pitch and everything. So, they got some decent seats. I don't think he's too impressed with the seats on the coach. He says there's not much leg room. Okie dokie then, Brissy. Thanks for popping in, and I'll see you in a bit. Yeah, they're sort of like them bucket seats where they sort of curl up, yeah. And if your arse is a bit on the big side, they're sticking it in your arse. He said there's not very much leg room. Well, you see, somebody sent him a link other day, and it were a minibus, right? This mate of Chris's, who we used to go to school with, sent him a link, and it was for a minibus, but they wanted 50 quid each. Chris says, I'm not paying that. He says, I'd rather put petrol in car and drive down there. I know, I've shown everybody. Callum asleep. Anyway, so, hey, hiya, Tony. I'm okay, how are you? So Chris says, if that's the case, he says, I'd sooner put petrol in car and drive down there. Yeah, it might have been a mere like parking up or finding somewhere to park up. But anyway, so a few hours later, this same friend sent him another link, and it was the official, an official Blades coach. And it got they were 35 quid each. I mean, there's a big difference in 35 and 50. Oh dear, you not do that again in a hurry, Gary. But same as, you see, these that wanted 50 quid, it were only a minibus. But this is like, I don't know how many seater. Hi Terry, how you feeling now? Show it, Callum. Why is he woke up already? Oh dear, I've got a parrot on my shoulder. Oh, do you want me to send him in both? Show him in both. That's Callum fell asleep. They're on coach coming back from Wembley, Terry, if you're wondering. Is it frozen? Oh. I think it froze a bit there. This is the one that he's just sent me. Bless him. Tired out, bless him. Oh dear. Something to blackmail him over. Oh, naughty, naughty. So you've got plenty of booze and plenty of chocolate. Ooh, that's not bad then. But yeah, Chris says I weren't paying 50 quid, not for a minibus. And then these this woman had bought a son, and his friend said it's been a long day. But it has. Oh, you were still asleep. Oh yeah. Anyway, what was I saying there? Yeah, it weren't paying. It weren't paying 50 quid for a minibus. But this woman had bought 2 tickets for a son and his pal or something, but they made other arrangements, so she got 2 spare seats on a coach. So she was selling them off cheap. So it's still on the coach on the way back, Crypto. As you can tell by the photographs. I think it's going to be at least midnight by the time he gets back. So I've been going 21 minutes, yakkering away to my son. Is anybody coming on panel? But yeah, Callum's like Chris, he can sleep on a line prop. Callum can. But Chris says there's that much noise on coach. I mean, you know what I mean? People talking and laughing and, you know what I mean? You're not getting any younger, put it this way.
No. Hello.
Hello.
Excuse me.
Put your move, yeah, put it a bit closer to you.
What, like that?
Yeah. So I've been de-owned by Tucker and a Biscuit. Yeah, I've been down here all day on my own, except when I let him out for a pee, and with tea time.
Boom. Right, that's me set up.
I'm not his favourite person, put it that way.
That's not your fault, though, is it?
Hey?
It's not your fault. It's not your fault.
He's a man's dog, and yeah, Chris is his favourite. But this is the thing: when we adopted him, they kept saying, "Don't let him get too used to one person." But German Shepherds are renowned for being
solitary,
a man's dog, if you know what I mean.
Hey, Crypto.
Yeah.
Dogs are good for that. I thought I got my mate a dog, right, a pit bull, and I howled it first, so it bonded with me, right? And halfway going down the road, he says, "Look, your drive, give me the dog." And he jumped back in the back seat and held the dog going home. Since that day, I really was getting on well with this dog, right? The dog was about 8 years old. And he's like, "Do us a favour, go on and take the dog round the block." I says, "Aye, no bother." Put the dog on the lead, got to about 5 steps through the house, and it stopped. Looked at me as if I was trying to steal it. I was like, come on, Colby, come on. It was like, no. It kept looking back at the door as if where's Kieran? I was like, come on. And I didn't even get round the corner with him, and I just had to come back. I was like, he's not coming for me, man. No chance.
Biscuit's like that, and sometimes he's been very, very funny, even though he'll spend the day in Callum's room. Because see, Chris takes him out first thing, and then Callum started taking him out he takes him about 5 o'clock, round about that time. Yeah. And it got as though he'd go out, and I think he thought that while he's taking him out, Chris was going to sneak out. You know what I mean?
Anxiety. Was it separation anxiety?
Yeah, and he stopped wanting to go with Callum. Now, obviously, a couple of days previous to this, Callum started going out with Chris when he texts Biscuit. So we're hoping that he sort of,
If it doesn't work, you could always do a FaceTime with Chris. And just have Chris saying to the dog, "Come on."
Yeah.
Okay, Chris. advice.
We've tried all sorts, even down to, let's say, when I've had to go to doctors, putting Chris's YouTube channel on when we've gone out so we can hear his voice. But the funny thing is, all day is sort of come down, gone to the front door, looked at the front door. Well, he's not coming back yet, so he's buckled back off upstairs. So he keeps checking to see if he's come back. You know what I mean? But
It's just the way the dog is, isn't it?
well, that's it. You know what I mean? But I said to Chris when they said, "Oh, don't let him bond with one particular person." It's hard not to when Chris is the one that's taking him for a walk, when Chris is the one that's feeding him. Well,
Exactly.
apart from today.
What's the pup's name? Love the pup's name.
Biscuit. Yeah. He were already called that when we got him, so it's like Tucker. He were already called Tucker when we adopted him, so we couldn't see the point in changing it.
Tucker, the ginger cat.
Yeah.
I never even knew you had that cat until recently. I seen it on the...
Yeah, he's been upstairs all day, I know. There's another one that's very clingy with Chris. You know what I mean?
I need to get myself a kitty.
You're getting a bit of pussy.
No. I'm getting myself a little kitty. I've been told to get one.
This is the thing. This is a good thing about cats, though. I mean, you ain't got to take them out on lead. You can just open the door, let him go. I mean, because he's chipped and he's been done. You know what I mean? So, yeah, it's just a case of opening the door and letting him go. And even when I let Biscuit out for a pee-pee, I left the door open and they didn't even bother coming down.
See, the thing is, right, you've seen that road, you've parked outside and how busy it is. On a Saturday, you were here, mind you, but it gets really busy. I'm starting to feel a conky coming on. Mr. Conky. Right, and most cats, there has been 3 cats that have lost their life out on that road. Right, tattooed. And I see one cat that's, you can tell the different cats that are smart and the ones that are tattooed to the road, right? The smart one waits till 11 o'clock at night or even 1 o'clock in the morning till he goes across that road and goes.
I mean, they're not stupid cats, are. I mean, well, some are.
Some are. They're tattooed to the road.
Yeah.
But my favourite cat here,
Gordon just sent me a picture of them, that couple having a. I can never barbecue it back at car. Are they not gone up in smoke? I don't know. I'm having a barbecue it back at car.
Genius. I call the shots.
It's all right. Anything. Sent me one as well. 120 mile they've got to.
Oh, sorry. That's what, 2 hours? It's 60 mile an hour in a truck. Stop.
Yeah. Estimated time of arrival back here, 23:27, which is half 11.
Yeah, that's way before 12.
Yeah. An hour and 59 minutes.
Is it one stop when they get home?
They went from the Utilita Arena, which is the main arena here in Sheffield, but then they've got to get on a tram back here.
But everybody on the bus gets off at the one stop.
Yeah, I think so. I think I forget how many Chris said buses were going from there. God, I said there were flames and all sorts coming out back at car. in fuel. What's it back at car as well? Fuel tank.
Petrol tank.
Oh God!
But it's safely positioned though underneath the back axle, away from the boot.
What? Pray tell me, what's a conky coming on?
Conky.
Yeah.
Mr. Conky. He's a ventriloquist puppet
from Trailer
Park Boys. Man, I'm totally hooked in Trailer Park Boys, and I'm stuck on series 1. I'm going to watch it with some folks. My sister's going to start watching it with us. My missus is into it as well. I'm so fucking amazed that I never seen any of that. And I've heard folk talking about it for years, and I went, nah, you're all right. And now I've this is fucking gold.
But it's like Chris got hooked on The Last of Us or something. The actual
game,
not the game, the actual series.
All right.
But you see, Chris is into shoot 'em up and zombies and all sorts. Now that's not my thing.
No.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I'm
not into horrors like Sinead, and Sinead's always kind of trying to get me to watch horrors. Where I've watched a couple of funny ones, right, and ones that you wouldn't think were horrors, but horrors like what Tim's into. Tim loves all that fucking Freddy and Jason and all that stuff. From
what I call slasher movies.
I'm not into that, man. That's just freaks me out a wee bit. It doesn't scare me, but I'm just kind of like.
Having said that, I mean, sort of my thing is true crime or paranormal things. You know what I mean?
I like paranormal because I watch a lot, or I listen to Coast to Coast AM at the end of the night with George Noory. There's some right idiots come on that, man. It's very funny.
Hi, Lee. How are you? Do you have Netflix? Yeah.
We did have. We kind of come off it and on it, and then get it 1 month.
Well, you see, it's like both our tellies. They've got that sort of built in, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. The PlayStation's good for that because you can grab the apps and just put them up as your.
Yeah, Crypto says she loves horror movies.
Yeah, I like the comedy ones.
But you know what makes me laugh is they're in a certain situation and they start running, but then they go back. Who do that?
Not me.
Not me either. I'd run and keep running.
If there was anybody in front of me while we were running, I'd be tripping them up. The way you can lie down, man, there's a monster coming.
Alice in Borderland is worth a watch.
I'll be back in 2 minutes, Jeanette. I just need to go to the Chinese.
Oh, look at Timmy there.
What's he done to it? Has he put mist on it?
I don't know. I don't know what you've done to it, Tim.
I must have heard Tim saying in ages. What are you going to do at the shops, Tim?
I'm going to Chinese to get chips.
All right. What about a bottle of beer?
I'll be back in 2 minutes.
Saturday night, grab beers.
Grab beers.
Nah.
Scissors.
Oh, Gordo says it's a bit like the Squid Games, but more of a storyline.
Right. What's Alice in Borderland? Right. Do you know a film that I watched and I thought it was really creepy? And it's a foreign film that you might not have heard of. Battle Royale. You ever heard of that? It's like an island, right, with loads of kids from, I think they were Japanese school kids, right? And they all thought they were there for a holiday. It's bizarre because they all end up having to. Do you know what? It was probably a precursor to Squid Game.
Oh.
Because they all had to kill
I've heard of it, but I've not watched it.
There was all these grids made up in the island, and whenever one grid showed up on the television screens, that was the next grid that everybody in there was going to get killed. It was like bonkers.
You see what gets Chris is it can be watching a horror movie, but he hates it when they sort of like flippy flop him from one, like past, then back to present, then past, then back to, you know what I mean? And he says it drives me nuts.
I think the cop in what's his name? Tarantino does that, doesn't he? He's done that with his films.
I don't know. We were watching one other night, and Callum come down. He says, "What you watching?" Because this obviously they're similar, and they like a lot of similar things. Right. So he'd say to Chris, "What you watching?" I says, "Oh, it's some I forget what it were called now." He says, "But it's doing me head in." He says, "Because it's one of them things where you can't keep abreast at story because they like flippy flopping from one thing to other. You know what I mean? And it drives you nuts."
See, most films, you see that when it comes up at the bottom, 5 years before, 8 months later. It gives you an incline of what where you are in the book or whatever.
But that's what, same as Chris said. He says, you know, he likes a film. It's got a start, a middle, and an ending. You know, simply, you know, get on with film. You know, storyline, whatever. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I'm going to start watching the old films again.
Gary says Tim looks like Kevin Keegan.
Yeah, something at the 70s, definitely something. I just start thinking of him when he appears. You know, the big guy used to dance.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, blood and guts don't bother me at the slightest. It's just, I just don't like horror films. You know, when you sat there and all of a sudden, you know, boo, and they could be.
Well, the last film.
You know, when they just something what you're not expecting, and all of a sudden.
Last one to do that, I think. Well, maybe it was the first one to do that to me was Jaws, when the head came out the boat. You know, when he went to unloosen the tooth,
yeah.
Big head comes out after. Whoa!
And I often say to Chris, you know, it's not doing my ticker any good. God, who says does Tim use brought after save asking for a friend? I don't know. You let's ask him, Gordo.
Maybe a bit of Old Spice Tim uses. So Raphael's got his hair cut now. He's whacked.
I know. I had to sort of do a double take when I seen him.
I've been waiting all winter to see that again. He looks right smart.
Bria says that head in Jaws, I ate it, yeah. Mm. But I don't. This is the thing. I don't like surprises, and you know, when you sort of all of a sudden, you know, it's like, you know, somebody jumps out at you, and I keep saying, oh God, I wish they wouldn't do that because my ticker can't take it. You know what I mean?
We used to do that in the house a lot. My sisters and my dad used to do it a lot. Not so much my mother, right? And it got to the point where we got fed up screaming at each other, you know, like going like that and going, rah, you know, at the top of your voice in front of somebody. So we got so bored of that, right? We just used to stand in stupid places and wait for somebody to walk around the corner and just be standing there. Fucking bastards.
Oh dear. Can you imagine Tim jumping out from behind a door or behind a curtain?
You'd hear him first burping away, like, Tim come out from behind the door. How did you know
Did how many times did you go at sin bin last night then? Thursday night.
2 or 3 times I put him in. One was me burping, but folk in chat said it was him.
I know. I thought that was your nose bro burping. Front on it and got put it sin bin.
See, I think my sister wasn't going to come up because she feels queasy when he does that. I was like, Tim, stop it, man. He's like, all right, I'll mute. I was like, cool. Burp.
Oh, Gordo says, I don't know why everyone was scared of Jaws. It was only some bloke playing the double bass in the sea. But yeah, I mean, back in that day, I mean, you forgetting, Gordo, we were only kids at the time.
What did we have that day? What was the most impressive thing we've seen on television in 1978?
Pardon me?
Star Wars had just come out, kind of thing. That was blowing minds. What else? But
this is the thing. To people, it were... Yeah, that could happen. You know what I mean? The sharks in sea. You know what I mean? And they sort of did like a sequel to it, didn't they? Where they were breeding them or something in this facility or something, and slowly one by one, it were killing them all.
In real life or the films? You're talking about the movies?
I'm sure. I can't remember. But they did, I can't even remember what it were called, but they did another one similar to that. And they were at this underwater facility or something, and they were genetically...
Is that not Samuel L. Jackson in that one? The Big Blue?
That might have been it, yeah.
He jumped out of the tank into the chamber.
And it
and
was
started
like killing them off
dropping
one by one, weren't it? And
Yeah.
and they could just sod all about it because they were about 100 miles below sea.
Yeah.
But I can sort of like vaguely remember that, and I didn't know what it was called, you see.
Mhm.
But that to me is totally believable because that sort of thing could happen. You know, people genetically, yeah, you know what I mean? And as sort of the years has gone on,
Uh-huh. Piranha.
Gordo says one film that scared shit out of him were Halloween with Michael Myers. I was only a kid when I first saw that.
Yeah.
See you later, Terry. Go and put your feet up.
Yeah, have a rest.
But
It's just-
I can remember watching that Piranha film and all.
Uh-huh. I don't like piranhas. My mate had a piranha that wasn't. I didn't know it wasn't a killer.
We had a piranha. Well, when I say we, not me and Chris, you know.
Mhm.
Anyway, we bought this piranha, and it was the only fish in the tank. So we were feeding it. It was like coming up to take food off you. You know, it weren't nasty at all.
No. This one was a big thing, that size, you know, like a perch. Like a 5.5 pound perch.
This one that we had were massive. Anyway, so we goes to pet shop one day, and they got some piranhas in, but they weren't as big as the one that we got. They were sort of, you know, about that big.
The wee jaw like that.
Okie dokie then, Gordo. See you in a bit. Anyway, so we did the usual thing. We left it in bag in water and blah blah blah, and let it out. Come down next morning, they're only half on it left.
What? Who did it?
The other piranha,
Other piranha.
yeah.
Half the, maybe it was 2 males.
I don't know.
I've seen that happening with 2 mice, putting 2 male mice into the same thing, and one's sitting there gnawing on the other one in the morning, like a vampire.
But yeah, same. I mean, I don't know, sort of. You know what I mean? It were whether it were this is my tank. You're an invader in my tank. This is my crib, sort of thing.
The gerbil or a mouse, they're vicious creatures. You know, they're tiny, right? But they'll maul each other, grab each other, and go for the neck. And the other mouse was sitting there, opened at the neck. You know, it wasn't as if it just chewed its tail. It went for the right.
Yeah.
Stop it for living. And then sat gnawing on the
Yeah,
thing.
we'd come down next morning, and half on it had gone. It was just half on it, floating there in tank.
Mm-hmm.
But funny thing is, you know them big catfish that you can get.
Yeah, big whiskers.
Yeah, we got one of them. Never even bothered it.
Mm-hmm. The catfish are crazy. They're probably
So,
the hardest.
Isn't it funny that
Uh-huh.
It never even touched the catfish, and so I think basically it's because they were cohabiting, sort of thing. You know what I mean? That you got your space, I've got mine, sort of thing.
Mm-hmm. I'm trying to think, a gaffer fish, I think it's called. Not like Bordeaux farts now, but there's a gaffer fish. It's like an alligator fish, right? And it's vicious. I've seen them being fed with live. They've got to be fed by live fish in the tank. You can't just throw in a dead piece of meat because they won't even notice it. It'll just fall to the bottom and rot. So you've got to chuck in a decent sized fish. You think a crocodile's bad in the water? These gaff fish, I think they're called gaff fish.
Oh yeah, there's that thing tomorrow, isn't it?
That
He's not looking forward to 3 p.m. tomorrow because of the text message with emergency alert.
Do you know you can switch it off?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's where mine's is. Bloody scare the nation, beep beeps.
But yeah, I mean, I've always got mine on silent anyway, so it don't make no difference.
No. It's just if the wee man picked it up. I mean, what? You know, apparently way back in the day, right? I would have been probably 9 or something like that. I was out playing football, and a news report came on the television saying Russia has just armed its weapons and they're pointing them at the UK. and it lasted for about 15 minutes, and it was off. It wasn't a main news flash, but I knew nothing of it. You know, my sister and my dad were sitting going, "Oh, quick, grab him, bring him up." And he's like, "Why? Just let him play football. Let him be."
Crypto says the same with reptiles. They've got to be live.
Yeah, they're not interested in it if it's not wriggling with a heartbeat.
It's part of the kill process, isn't it?
They don't.
You know what I mean? It's the makeup of the makeup of the. You know, it's food chain, isn't it? You know, he kills that, and they kill that, and you know what I mean. It's got to be. They've got that hunting thing.
It makes sense, because what would be wrong with a dead body? It could have been rotten. It could have had died of a disease that you're not going to ingest. Whereas if you chase a fit enough animal, you know, fine, this is a good one.
Yeah, yeah.
If I can catch
I know what you're saying. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But it's like tigers, lions. You know what I mean? Part of the thing is in the chase.
Yeah, because they're no scavengers. That's what they're no scavengers. They won't. Whereas a hyena would go about and scavenge a dead body, whereas the lion wants to catch live. Because it's
and it's same as you said. There's no fresher than killing it, you know. But the only thing is, hi Richard, how are you? The only thing is that you get certain, you know, they let you kill it and then they steal it, if you know what I mean.
Aye. Gang up on them. Because the cheetah gets that a lot, because it's a wee skinny fast runner. It'll catch one and some big dude leopard will come along like that. Right, boy, move. And you'll have to walk off like, oh, fuck it.
You've done all hard work. We'll take it from here, sort of thing. But you know, this is the thing. It's life, innit? You know what I mean? It's like, you know.
See, we were blessed with that, weren't we, with David Attenborough feeding us that all life on Earth when we were kids. You know, like going to see the apes and all, and sitting with all sorts of animals. We were fucking watching it, like, and from such an educated guy telling you all the wee stories attached to it. Look, this guy's going to do this and this guy's going to do that. Watch the way he does that. And watch the way this lion catches the zebra and eats it for the stomach up. Wow.
That was quick, Tim.
I don't mess about.
Must be quick on your toes.
Yeah.
Can I give you a wee second to go and find my cigarette paraphernalia?
So did you just get chips then?
No, I had to get chips, fried rice and green sauce.
Oh.
And then a woman in Chinese tried to do me out of a tenner. Because they were a £20 note, and then she tried to do me out of it. She tried to do me
saying
out of
you'd only give her a tenner.
Yeah, I'd give her £20, but she said but she only gave me change for a tenner, and I'm like, I gave you £20. So that was that.
That's it. Well, it's been quiet here, Richard, today. Oh,
Sorry,
getting a ball passing. I said it's been lovely and quiet.
Yeah. Well, the Chinese closes at 10 o'clock. It used to stay open till half 10, but it closes at 10 now.
Bar Chippy stays open till 8 o'clock.
Bloody hell.
No matter, you know, same as I said to Chris, you'd think during summer months they stay out a bit longer, but they don't. 8 o'clock, that's it.
No. Bloody hell. Is it worth them opening?
See, the sunny weather stops people going to restaurants. They can do that out their back door. That's what stops every restaurant. Even deliveries, it was always a beautiful night, no deliveries. As soon as it starts snowing, raining or windy.
Deliveries.
Well, it sent me a thing, Richard. We reckon just there about 11:30. But that took you till to Arena, and then they've got to get tram from there to here. So it's I reckon we're looking at least midnight. But yeah, even Biscuit and Tucker have both deserted me. Biscuit only come down when I was dishing tea out. Well, his tea, I mean.
Yeah.
Tucker hadn't even been down at all.
Bloody hell.
But anyway, same as I say, no, it got some coach tickets last minute. He managed to get 2 coach tickets, though. Hey, up, Richard. He sent me some pictures of Callum asleep on coach.
What are you laughing at?
You froze with a chip in your mouth.
Alright.
Like that.
So yeah, Richard, that's first they said me, Callum fast asleep. Why did that go off? And this is another one that he sent where he's leaning on his shoulder, fast asleep. And then the last one, 20 minutes ago, when it says 23:27, they'll get back. But then they've got to get Cham back here.
Right, clip time.
About 10 minutes.
But at least it
Yes, I'm Chad.
They managed to have a pint. Well, 2 actually, but
What did you say it was, 22 quid?
when they got off of the coach, Chris hadn't had anything to drink or eat since before he left.
Aye.
So he FaceTimed me on Messenger and he says, I'm going to go and get something to eat. 2 burgers and 2 cans of Coke, 22 quid.
Fucking hell.
You should have got a scarf for that as well, you know.
I know.
Scarf. The boy could have got a
And I signed football.
So then they went actually in Wembley and they went up on this like escalator thing. And because they were sort of one of the early ones, 2 pint, a tenner. But then they went back for another pint and it was £13 something.
Just put the price up whenever they want. Good
Chris says, "Oh, it's when we got them 2 for a tenner, it would cost we were relatively early, one of the first in thing." So there's a lot of difference. It's tenner and 13 quid. But
I knew it was going to be expensive inside Hampden one day. Went to see AC/DC. Went to see AC/DC playing, and I made a point of buying 4 cans of beer. Right in the middle of me saying that, man. Oh, Jesus.
Sorry, bro.
No, you're not. No. You're lucky I've not got the controls tonight, man, because halfway through that burp, I just went bank. Yeah, I'm not talking now. Let Tim burp.
No, carry on.
Sure. 4 cans of Red Stripe,
Aye.
and I sat outside and finished them. And then went inside, pretty pissed, and bought a pint for
see, this
£5.
is the thing with being an official Blades coach. They weren't allowed any food or drink on coach.
No, right.
So,
That's fucking ridiculous, man. No,
and it were gagging for a fag because he messaged me and of course I'm sat there with a fag and a coffee and he said, "You're teasing me now, aren't you?" No, it's just happened. You ring me up while I got a fag on for coffee.
It's you that decided to go out and have fun.
You know what I mean?
Aye.
I says, I didn't ask you to ring me at that specific time. I says, I can't help it. I says, I'm not going to sit here all day with no coffee or no fags just because you're on coach and you can't have one.
I don't like going away from my house. No. I don't even like going on holiday. Travelling. I dread going up to Scotland. I need to go at the top of Scotland, and I've still been putting it off for the full year and a half nearly now.
But that's it. Oh dear. But yeah, You know,
Smacked the ball.
it was you that decided to go to Wembley. It was you that decided to go on coach.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you'd have gone down in car, you could have smoked till your heart's content.
Could have slept in the car.
Yeah.
But the only thing we're going down in car, it means the country had a pint. So
Yeah.
it's like swings and roundabout. The same as Chris said, for price of tickets for the coach, it'd probably have put that in petrol to go down there and back.
What about a train?
Yeah.
I know it's short notice because you didn't know you were in the semis till about a week or something, wasn't it? If that,
Well,
2
that's
weeks.
it. You see, Chris had every intention right up until about Wednesday, Thursday night that they were gonna go down in car, and then they were gonna like. The plan was park up at Park and Ride, and then get that Park and Ride.
Service.
Yeah, Wembley.
Doing excellent.
But then these coach tickets come up. Well, the original price were 59 quid that she paid for them.
For the return bus.
But this were for coach, and she'd bought them for her son and his pal. But they'd made other arrangements, so she got 2 bus coach, spare, so,
Half price? No, did you get paid full price for them?
35 quid each
Nice.
instead of 59.
That's not bad.
Very nice. That's just over half price.
So, but a mate of Chris's had sent him a message saying, that somebody they've got some spaces left on this minibus, but they wanted 50 quid.
But you could have smoked on
Fucking
that
hell.
and
But
drank
Chris
and
says
Good
for a
man.
minibus, he says that's a lot of money. And 2 honours, that's 100 quid. He says,
I could. But it's like executive travel there. That's like a bit upgrading to sit in a minibus, other than sitting in a big coach full of sweaties.
you know what I mean? It's because it's like it were an official Blades run bus. They've obviously got strict things, and he couldn't eat or drink.
Yeah.
They were gasping by the time he got there.
But at least the bus made it back in one
Not
piece.
like the good old days where you used to take a crate of lager on the bus.
Well, that's it. Yeah.
So every time I see the Jolly Days outing, the Jolly Boys Day outing, with
Only fools and all.
that was classic, man. That is one of their best.
I'm hoping Coach don't catch a fire.
But they're driving an old
I said to
bucket.
him like before he went this morning, I went, if you get arrested, I says, don't bother ringing me. What you going to expect me to do? You can sit in a cell all night. He says, well, why would I get okie dokie then, Jay? Why would I get arrested? I says, well, you never know.
Aye.
Stranger things have happened, haven't they? You know what I mean?
Pardon me.
Disgusting.
Yeah, disgusting.
But you're at your dinner, so.
Okie dokie then, Amjad. Yeah, I said one thing, don't ring me. I says, if you get arrested. I says, he says, well, there's not a lot you can do anyway. He says, even if we do.
No, he can just let you know. Here's it's time to worry. Or you could leave it to the next day and just not say anything and just come up the road and say, look, last night I was in the police cells.
But, yeah.
So last thing you got
dolphin. Oh, dear.
A bit.
I think, yeah, it were a bit more organised than only fools and horses acting, though. Hi, Jennifer. How are you? But yeah.
I don't really. I've never used a bus. When was the last time I used a bus?
Hi, Jennifer's mashup.
2012. When I was going up and down on Megabus
Yeah.
to Wigan. And I think I came up the road one time, there was a crash in Lancaster and we were held up for 5 hours.
Oh, God.
So it was a 9-hour trip to get from Manchester to Glasgow. And I was raging. And I went to this chip shop and I was spitting feathers, man. She's like, where's up with you? I was like, fucking 9 hours, man. Jesus Christ, where have you come from? Manchester. And she said to me that day, try Megabus train. And I ended up in the Pendolino the next time for like £6 return.
That's not bad then.
But this was like, when was this? 2013. Nobody was on the train at all. There was like 6 carriages and I was the only person on it.
Huh.
And they even said you want to sit in the first class. I was like, no, it doesn't really make much difference. I'm not getting any champagne, am I? Or
Do we get waiter service?
None of that. I was like, well, it doesn't matter, really. The only difference with the first class, see, instead of having 2 seats, they've got 2 seats and 1 seat. And fancy napkins on the back of the headrest.
Oh dear. It's like first class, not all it's cracked up to be.
No. It's the same scenery when you look out the window. It's exactly the same.
Well, that's it.
One thing
Again.
I do love sitting in a train. There's nothing better than sitting on a train. Going by the motorways and seeing all the trucks driving, and you're sitting there.
The worst train I had was the one up to Inverness.
You got the wrong train on it. You must have got the wrong train that day. You could have got a 15 quid. I think it was.
Station.
I know, that's what I mean. You should have got the 2 stops or 3 stops, maybe 4 stops.
Well, when I go up to Inverness again, I'm going by bus. It's cheaper and quicker.
Don't know about quicker, but there's a certain train that will take you every stop, right? And there's about 30 stops, mate, to get to Inverness. Or you can take the 4 stop. One.
There's no worse. I mean, we once went to, I think it was Skegness. We were sort of between cars at the time, and we booked this holidays to go to Skegness, and we went on bus, and they stopped every 5 minutes picking folks up.
Aye, like a bus service for a local. It's an express you need, man. You need to get the.
You know what I mean? And Chris, it says, that's last time I'm catching a bus anyway. You know what I mean? And it was like 5 minutes down the road, they stopped to pick somebody up. Then another 5 minutes, and they stopped to pick somebody up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was terrible. What should have took like 2.5 hours, about 5 hours later, eventually got there. And Chris says, that's last time I'm catching a bus. In between us, Gary. Yeah. I don't know what he's talking about.
Is that in between us?
Yeah, shouting, winding window down. Shouting it out at window.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, God. But honestly, Gary, it was the worst. And it weren't all that comfy either. And you were like all crunched up, and you know what I mean? Your knees were crunched up, and you get like, I kept getting cramp in my leg, and I was like, no, it's not happening again. Never again. But you see, this is the the comfort of driving anyway. You can stop when you want. You can have a fag when you want. You know what I mean? Even have a coffee when you want. I mean, if we go on any long journeys, when we went out at New Forest, we made a great big flask of coffee up. We got bottles of pop, bottles of water, you name it. I'd made a load of goodies, cookies, donuts, also. And you
yeah.
I think we only stopped once, and that were only to have a piss.
I get where I'm going soon as. I hate stopping.
Oh, thank you. I ain't coloured it a note, Jennifer. I've just washed it, that's all. But yeah. Funnily enough, I think, we pulled into a McDonald's, I think we did. To use facilities. And there was this container. And right outside, there were a thing advertising. Guess where it were advertising? Pickering Sheds. Chris said, is that fate or is it a coincidence? You know, we pull into this McDonald's in middle of nowhere. You know what I mean? Yeah, and they're advertising Pickering. I did take a picture on it, but I think that's from the old phone.
You can't find it.
You couldn't make that up, could you?
We got a free breakfast at a service station once, me and my drivers. We were two of us were down the air for it, and we were sick of paying like 15 quid for a single breakfast with one sausage, one bacon, one egg, one hash brown. And we were like, you know what? Fuck it. So we went for the double. So it was like nearly 21 quid each. And I says to him, I said, fuck, can we don't just sit down and eat this and then pay for it? We went and sat down and ate it, and we went, do you know what? That was really good. Do you want to just go? There should have been somebody that came and collected some sort of payment off us, you know?
Yeah.
And just fucked off. 40 quid up. Thank you.
Do you need my glasses, Jennifer?
I'm going to get a pair like that, Jeanette.
She says, and some guys on the panel.
Where?
Do you need my specs, Jennifer? But no, I'm only joking. You know I am. Tim just needs an haircut.
Yeah, tidy up.
I tell you, are you going for the hairstyle, Tim? Let me in. What are you doing? What are you doing?
I don't know yet.
Go for the 25 quid, 30 quid. We can hang about with the Turkish boys for a couple of hours, man. They're sound dudes, man. Smart boys. You'll love it.
Gary says he used to hate travelling on bus on the Mondays, pension day, or old dolls nagging on the bus talking about the latest perm they got at the hairdresser, bags of shopping blocking the aisle on the bus. But yeah, I mean, this is another one of my bugbears, and I couldn't keep my gob shut. Chris has got a stiff neck. Anyway, Chris will tell you. There was this woman sat there, could see that I was struggling to get on a bus, and there was a seat spare outside on her, and got about 3-4 bags of shopping. So I went, excuse me, Doc. I says, is that shopping paid to get on bus? She says, what do you mean? I says, well, you're sat there, shopping's there, you're stopping somebody from sitting down on that seat. I says, can't you just put your bags on floor? Anyway, she tutted and reluctantly moved her bags so I could sit down, and I says, do you know something? I said, I hate that. People that sit down, take an extra seat up from either an old person or a disabled person sitting down just because you want the comfort of having your bags next to you. I says, well, why don't you move them on floor? 88 miles away.
That's not bad, getting there. See, do you know there's etiquette on the Netherlands bus, the public transport, right? See, if you want to sit by yourself on a bus, then you must read a book and sit on the inside next to the window. See, if you're holding a book up, that means nobody really should be sitting next to you because you're basically announcing, I want to sit here myself. You know, don't fucking squeeze in. And if you sit without a book on the outside, then you're offering the inside seat to somebody. You know, obviously we've got our rules where if you see an old bird coming on, if you're even sitting at the front, because I normally sit up the back anyway, I would get up, not to make an arse of the old bird, but just to say, here you go. You know, or somebody that's...
When did you say it's etiquette? And I always used to do the same. If I saw an old person struggling to get on the bus, I'd say, do you want to sit here?
Now, case in point, right? When my kids were younger, and we were going to we was going on the bus, and we was going to East Kilbride. You know it, bro. We were going on the bus to the East Kilbride, and this old woman got on the bus, and I was ready to say to my kids to get up and let the old woman sit down, And she said, no, they're all right. She wasn't going very far on the bus, but the old fella that got on behind her started kicking off, saying, "Oh, your kids should have got up." But the old woman said she was following my kids, sitting where they was because she wasn't.
At least you did the right thing and you asked her.
Yeah.
And your kids were willing to give up to see it, but she said no. I'll tell you. Chris has just said he's done an SPD on bus.
Oh God, no! There's going to oh no!
What's the SPD? What does that stand for?
Silent but deadly.
Ah, he dealt. You smelt out.
Yeah, I mean, not good on a bus like with 40 other people, and and everybody's going.
No.
It's going to end up getting flung off the bus with 8 miles.
I'm going to say. Yeah, knowing Chris, he'd get booted off.
Callum will be still sleeping.
Anyway, I were on tram this particular day. I mean, now I've got like a free pass, and it allows me to go on with a carer. So me and a carer can get on for nothing.
Yeah, that's like my son.
This were before then. Anyway, I were coming on. I think I'd been to doctors, and or something. I can't remember. Anyway, I sat next to this. Old girl, and I gave her money out, like, and so she says, "Oh, and you got a disabled?" I says, "No." I says, "I'm looking into it," sort of thing. So next minute, she says, conductor comes along, and she says, "Here, blah blah blah. This lady's with me." She didn't even know me, so I got on for nothing. And now it's not very often a total stranger will do that for you.
Yeah, definitely.
Did the total stranger get on the train for nothing?
It were on tram.
But that's what I mean. Did she go on for
got
nothing?
one of these cards, and she says, "Have you got one of these?" I says, "No." I says, "But we in process of applying for one." I says, "I haven't actually got it yet."
You knew exactly what position you were in now.
Yeah. So standard state conductor came along, and you just press it on the machine and it scans it, and she says, "This lady's with me." This lady's with me. I didn't even know her, and sort of, I weren't going all that far anyway. So on getting off, I says, "Thank you." I says, you didn't need to do it, but I thank you for doing it.
Now, there's a few people left like that, though.
Yeah. Says he's on route home run. Yeah, just don't get chucked off at bus for farting.
Control your arse for 5 minutes.
put air conditioning thing on. Let it just like circulate a bit. But yeah, you know what I mean? There is some good people out there, but I can remember when my 3 lads, they were sort of like 2 years in between them. So I sort of got 2 toddlers and one in a buggy, and they're as ignorant as hell. They wouldn't help you, get. I'll get your buggy on for you, or you know what I mean. And that was another thing. You can see I'm struggling. I've got 2 toddlers and one in a pushchair. Yet you still, sit there happily and let me struggle on bus.
I seen a young lassie walking down the street with a baby in her arm, same as you, like a couple of years between the other baby and the pram. So she was holding one, pushing the other, whilst holding the phone in her ear, right? And these 2 older girls were walking towards her on the pavement, and they never single filed out the way her. They just marched right through her. And this woman, the younger lassie, turned her pram and moved out the way whilst juggling a 2-year-old and a wee baby in the pram in the front. I was like, you pair of ignorant.
I mean, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I always say it's the way that they're brought up.
Yeah, but you would think the older girls would have been a bit more. They just marched right through. I was like, wow, I wasn't expecting that.
Basically, you know what I mean? I mean, it's like when I were a kid, I used to, I always used to address somebody as auntie or uncle or Mr. or Mrs. You know what I mean? No first name terms or anything. And but that's the way you're brought up as a kid.
I would always call my mates by their second name, Mrs. something, Mrs. Falls, or would never call them by their first name.
My eldest brother's mate used to come to the door, and he used to knock on the door. Is Darren there, Mrs. P? Because my mum's name is my mum was like, yeah, he's here.
But yeah, I mean, we were brought up in that age where, same as to say, you were as my mum always used to say, we were brought up, not dragged up.
Dragged up, yeah. And you was
and this is the thing, there's manners, and then there's being polite.
Yeah. Yeah. What? I'm always polite.
But it's like Callum. I mean, Callum's been brought up exactly the same, and yeah.
I've installed my stuff on the corner. As much as Sarah's the politest at the two of us, but he's super cool because I'm never going to be changing, because I've still got my dad's words echoing in my ear. So it's an automatic reaction to speak like that when you're delivering some sort of fucking wisdom, if you can call it that.
But you see, my dad always used to say to me, kids are meant to be
heard, not.
Yeah.
Children are meant to be seen and not heard.
Not heard, yeah. And do what I say, not what I do. Because you always used to say, well, you do it.
Do as I say.
And my dad used to say, well, yeah, it's different. I'm an adult. He says, you do as I say, not do as I do. Just don't miss your stop. Don't end up back in London or somewhere daft like that. Or getting on tram and missing your stop. You'll be sleeping under an edge bottom.
That was a good thing. The good thing about travelling up to Glasgow for Wigan. Glasgow Central's a stop. There's no through, so the train stops, so you can go to sleep. As soon as you jump in that train, you can just go,
Yeah, it's just a straight through service, yeah.
Yeah, I wish I'd have done that when I was going up to Inverness.
How long does it take you to get up to Scotland then?
For me to travel to Scotland for my bit, Wigan, 3 3/4.
Well, that's not bad then. I would have thought it would have been longer.
Yeah, but bro's got his foot down all the way.
No, I'm asking the train.
On about
3.5 on the car. 3.5 on the car, mate. 3.5. Maybe
3.5.
Yeah, welcome back, Bria. Me and my son left Torquay. This was the first time we went down. We left Torquay at 2:00 in the afternoon, and I think we were back in Scotland for just after 9-10 o'clock. No, 9-10 o'clock.
That's not bad then. I mean, it's like one end to other, isn't it? Though that is.
Yeah. But on the way down, because we hadn't done it for a lot, because it was the first time he'd done it, and it was the first time we drove all that distance. What we done was we broke the journey up. We left Scotland, and then we went to Birmingham, stayed the night in Birmingham, and then we drove from Birmingham to Torquay the rest of the way, and then we stayed at Torquay for that night, and then we came back that same day. The next day he had his appointment. He went and done what he had to do, and I went and done what I had to do to speak to friends and that, and because I know friends down that way. And
what old flames like?
No, friends from the fair. Friends from the fair.
Benefits.
No.
Friends
from the fair. Yeah.
But
it says here, right? From ours to Tim's would be 4 hours and 15 minutes.
Yeah.
But you've got to cross country at some point.
That says via A1M, whatever that is. It's 245 mile.
Yeah.
It says if we go via M6, it's 4 hours and 24 minutes.
You'd get to Newcastle and it would take you across the Scottish corner, across to Penrith, and
Yeah.
then you'd go up the west coast, and
Yeah.
you would land at
That
Motherwell
way,
easier.
Yeah.
Definitely, because if you went across to Edinburgh, you would need to double back on yourself and come back down the 71.
Yeah.
But according to this as well, it says, is there a direct train from Sheffield to wherever Tim lives? I'm
Well,
not.
I think the
Motherwell.
closest you've got Motherwell Station and you've got
It
Carstairs as
suggests
a
it's
regular
possible
stop.
to travel from Sheffield to
Closest
Motherwell
station.
without having to change trains. There is one direct train from Sheffield each day, though there may be fewer direct services available depending on your exact departure date.
You're nearest to what?
Nearest
Motherwell
train
or
station to me is Caffin.
Carfin?
Yeah, Caffin.
That's more into it. But there's no a lot of there's no a lot of services that would stop at that station. The most popular station to stop at is Motherwell,
Yeah,
and the one where the plane crash was in,
Lockerbie.
Lockerbie, and Carstairs. Don't know why would you want to get off at Carstairs, but
Yeah.
then there's no stop Hamilton. There's no train station at Hamilton, is there?
Yes, there
That
is.
comes off. That comes
Yeah.
off the main line.
Yeah, we're still coming crypto, but we'll do the spectator only. Well, apart from Callum, me and Chris are doing the spectator only. But you can only get them on day, if you know what I mean.
When you appear.
Yep.
Give us fucking ticket.
You see, Callum likes that sort of thing, but I don't. Definitely not.
I'm not into it either. I said that to you last time. They scare the shit out of me. I would rather be in a car, but not, or an aeroplane or something that I could maybe get control of, not to be strapped to a
You
device.
see, Alton Towers isn't all that far away from us. It's about 40, 50 minutes, an hour at most.
What was it? An hour
Yeah.
and 15 for me. So it was just a bit further away from
I
you've
missed
probably
it.
got closer
Hi,
to
Big
your
Dick,
side.
how are you?
I've never been to Alton Towers.
Nor have I. That's where I'm going. I've done Blackpool Pleasure Beach 2 years ago. We got there. It was we got there. I paid £25 for my ticket on the coach, and then all I had to do was pay my entrance into the park, which was £48.
It says it's an hour and 15 minutes. So
For
it's not
me?
bad.
For you?
For us,
Must
yeah.
That's the same as for me, I'm sure. I looked it up and it was exactly the same. So it must be right in the middle.
It's sort of near Nottingham, Derby
Yeah.
area.
Is it in Norfolk? Is that the county that is? What do you call that?
No,
The one
it's classed as Leicestershire. I'm sure it is.
Alright.
What
is Norfolk and what's the name of that?
Norfolk is.
Norwich. Norwich is in
Norwich is
Norfolk.
Yorkshire. Norwich is in Norfolk. Yes, Norwich is in Norfolk. Yeah.
Cool, 'cause I've been down there delivering once.
Norwich is yeah.
And Aylesbury, I went down to Aylesbury.
And the thing they say about Norwich, it says Norwich a fine city. Yeah, right.
But same as I always say, Tim. It's like everywhere else. There's good places and then there's bad.
There'll be people proud of Norwich and same as you're proud of Peterborough.
No, I ain't fucking Peterborough. Excuse my language.
Where were you born then? Was it Peterborough?
Peterborough, yeah.
Was it? There you go then.
Yep.
Done one good thing.
Peterborough Maternity Hospital.
About you and your brother.
But here's the thing: the maternity hospital that I was born in is gone.
The maternity hospital Callum were born in, that's gone and all. It's gone now.
The one I'm in still there.
Bro,
what?
You would know about Bells Hill Maternity Hospital.
That's the nearest one from Paisley, Matt. Because Paisley
no
takes
there.
all the. Is that done?
Bells Hill,
so
Bells Hill Maternity is gone.
That's why then that Paisley Maternity's been upgraded, because Paisley takes in Argyll and Bute and all the fucking islands right up to where Ali used to come from. And it's only like, we've only got I think it's about 5 or 6 Sea Kings that patrol for maternities in the country, up the west coast. And and they all land at Paisley. Or the new one that's been built. What's the big fucking Death Star that's been built in the middle of Glasgow?
Oh, fuck's sake! I don't know. Excuse my
Royal,
language.
the big Royal. It's been built like
Oh,
it's huge. It's got a big landing pad right on the roof.
mhm.
They call it a Death Star because nobody comes up.
But it's like here in Sheffield, we've got 2 hospitals, but the main one is Northern General.
Southern General is what we've got that. So just
Yeah,
rang a bell.
we've got a Northern General now. That's got helipad and all sorts. You know,
Big time.
most speciality cases go to Northern General, but we have got one called Sheffield Hallam Hospital. Now they predominantly, it's like heart strokes and things like that. You know what I mean?
Now we've got the Beatson that does the mainly cancer, and you've got certain things that get done
We've
in
got-
Paisley.
We've got 3 hospitals. Well, I've got 3 hospitals round about me, but they're about an hour bus ride. Well, Wishaw General's not about an hour bus ride, but you've got Monklands, and that's an hour bus ride, and then you've got what's the other one? Hare Myers, and that's about 2 hours bus
No.
ride. So that's out East Kilbride way.
Ridiculous that is, being that far away.
I went to a great wee hospital, right, called Adlington, and see, I thought it was just a local hospital, right? See, when I walked in, there was a museum, right, where these, see when they first done hip replacements and that, right? Most guys, or people that were getting hip replacements done, were dying of infections because of the open wound, right? So this guy came back for the war, and he said, look, we need to contain completely, sterilise, shut everything off, like a big chamber, and then go on. Certain guys can reach in, they don't even need to be in, they just need to reach in and operate and close them up.
Yeah.
And it was the first place to fucking get successful hip replacements and all that, right? Adlington.
Yeah.
I stood for about an hour watching it and reading it all like that, man. This is amazing.
Bloody hell.
But you see the thing about Northern General, it's like there's the main hospital, then you've got like little, what I call units. And, you know, like the cancer unit is totally separate to main hospital, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The eye, nose and throat and the burns unit and the cancer treatment and the...
Yeah, it's not they're within the hospital, but they're separate away from main hospital.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Aye, the accident emergency is normally the reception. And then everything I used to deliver in the hospitals when I was 16, right, fucking younger. And we used to take a wheelchair run with our papers on it. We used to go into the service corridors to get to our places.
Yeah,
I know that hospital like the back of my hand. And then once I was upstairs,
we're not here.
Yeah, aye.
Got fireworks.
Is that Sheffield Wednesday fans?
No, it's Eid.
Aye.
It's end of Ramadan. Well, they were going on.
But I went to take my laptop to get it repaired today. Bloody shop's shut.
Get on your
Repair shop shut.
Not shut or
That would have been a minimum of 60 quid for a repair, Tim. What?
Well, it's just the backlight on I'll show you.
So most of the guys I was phoning were saying minimum £60 starting fee.
you can sell it for a brand new one.
Yeah. But the only thing is, there's no disk drive in it.
What, you don't need that anyway, do you?
No, I don't need that. But I suppose I could buy it off. I said, no, put your teeth in and talk. I suppose I could always buy an external hard drive.
You could, but you don't really need it.
No.
The less you've got on the laptop, the better, because then you're going to get using it for just. I'm only using this for watching YouTube and doing a StreamYard with it.
Yeah.
I've kind of did really do anything much else with it. I don't know how to do anything else with it.
No.
But yeah, I mean this is like a laptop that I'm using that Chris bought me for Christmas, and it don't use Windows or anything. It's called Chrome OS.
Pardon me.
So once you've signed in with your Gmail, that's it. Everything's, you don't have to sign in here, there, and everywhere. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Whatever you use your Gmail, because it is actually
Yeah. Look at that Buffon go. Get some brow cream in it, man. Swick it back.
Yeah. You want some of that? You want some of that I told you? That
Yeah.
wait.
Mm-hmm. Get some butter on it or something, man. Fuck.
Can you remember when we were kids and you bump your head and you get this great big egg on top of your head? My mum used to slap some butter on it.
No.
That'll sort it out. Unless you scrape it off and butter bread. I'm only joking. But
my
yeah.
twin brother, sorry to interrupt. My twin brother, when we were younger, my twin brother picked up a garden fork and stuck it in my head.
What,
never
one of
even
them
noticed.
long steel things?
A proper garden fork. He picked it up in temper and stuck it in my head.
You know.
Yeah.
You still talk to him? I wouldn't talk to him ever again.
Hey, look, no, when we were kids, me and my sister were arguing, and I got to walk into a bedroom and she slammed the door in my face, and I got this great big. In fact, I've still got it on my lip, like a lump. Hi, Joel.
Hi, Joel.
I've still got blame for it.
Yeah, face full
I've
of
got
blood.
blame for it. Yeah, she was the one that slammed the door in my face.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Chris is at en route back, Joel. Yeah, I've still got like a lump on my lip. Mm-hmm. It were a great massive blood blister, and I've still got like lump on my lip. So, but yeah, you know what? How can I put it?
Yeah.
I were black sheep at family, you know what I mean? I my sunshine out my sister's arse, you know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
She could do no wrong, let's just say. Yeah. And I was the instigator, and it was my fault. And, yeah, even though I got the lip out here, yeah, it was still my fault.
Yeah, my mum said to me a few years ago before she passed away that she wished that she only ever had 2 children. And that was my little sister and my twin brother. And that was it. Yep.
Sweet.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, it is. You know, when you get that feeling that you're not good enough, and no, you can do is ever right, and you know what I mean.
Yeah. Should inspire you to be better.
Mm-hmm.
Even your own family should still be able to turn around and give your own family the finger. Doesn't make them any different for the real world. You can still do it, man. As long as you don't lift your hands.
Didn't bother me. I just did my own thing. I got on with my life. I went out to work. Yeah.
Welcome, Amjad. Mm-hmm.
I'm all right. I've not got real serious issues in my family, but everybody has their ups and downs, don't they?
But even though this is the thing. When my mum were dying, me and my sister had sort of not had a lot to do with each other.
Yeah.
So obviously, when my mum were dying, we were both there, and she kept saying, "Oh, we'll keep in touch. We'll, you know, blah blah blah."
Yeah.
She moved and didn't even tell me she were moving, and she lives in Sheffield, believe it or believe it not, and I don't even know where she lives.
Who is this?
My sister.
Right. Yeah.
I have got an older brother, but it's a long story. Well, half brother, should I say.
All right.
I don't even know where he is. People have told me that he's died, and I don't know. This was the thing. When my mum were dying, we said to, you know, me and my sister, should we see if we can find him?
Yeah.
And she went, well, she says they don't come to see me while I'm alive. So why should you get in touch with him to tell him I'm dead?
Yeah.
So and she was very, very clear about it. She didn't want us finding him. So we got to obey her wishes, sort of thing. She didn't want nothing to do with him. So yeah.
Bloody hell.
Yeah, it's a very, very, very long story, Joel. You know what I mean? It's and it was it all boiled down to the fact that me and my sister, well, start again.
Hi, James.
My brother didn't have the same dad as me and my sister.
No.
Hiya, James. How are you? And my dad brought him up like his own son.
Yeah.
But he always used to moan that, because they're your daughters, you look at them and you treat them different to me.
Yeah.
And it was something that festered, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And it sort of festered away with him, you know what I mean? And he were, put it this way, he were a bad in. You know what I mean? But
right, yeah.
But it were my mum's wishes. She didn't want us to find him because we offered to, to look for him and find him and search for him. But no, she didn't. She weren't having none of it.
No.
So,
I'll make a quick coffee. My mouth's gone a bit dry. Keep looking for a drink.
But yeah, every family's got that.
Yeah.
Long story. None of us is perfect. You know what I mean?
Nope, definitely not.
But
Hang a minute.
same as I say, when me and my sister lived at home, she was golden girl. She could do no wrong.
Yeah.
But then she went off doing her own thing. She got married and blah blah blah, and yeah.
Yeah, I know how that feels.
I was the only person that made time for my mum. Let's just say.
Yeah.
It don't matter what I were doing or where I were in my life. I'd always got time for my mum. So this is a question to Richard. Did you manage to catch that train? Well, I don't mean catch it, but you know what I mean. There were you put a thing in group about this steam train. Yeah. Forget what it was called now. But it's very it's like Chris, we're going to Wembley today. It's sort of one of these things that you've just got to do it, haven't you?
Yeah.
What
time did they leave then?
What
time did they leave this morning, Jeanette? Chris and that.
The coach left at 10 o'clock this morning.
All right.
But I think they left about 8:45, 9 o'clock-ish because get trammed down to. But good thing is, the utility arena, the tram stops right outside.
Yeah.
So, he says, yeah, I did. I've just uploaded a video. But yeah, so. That's a good thing about it. When they got the tram down there, it got them off right outside. Now he's hoping the trams are still. And I think they do. I think they run till about midnight. I'm not sure. So otherwise, it looks like I'm walking.
Yeah. How far are they away from your house then? When they get back?
Walking, I'd say on tram it's about 5-10 minutes, but walking, I'm not quite sure.
For half an hour. Because the trams are quite quick, aren't they? They're rapid. The big yellow ones, have you got the yellow ones like Manchester? No.
We've got Super Tram as well.
Mhm.
Not Super Tram, Super Tram.
Would see the trams that go through Bury and Ratcliffe, do they go across? Do they just go local? Do they stay local?
Yeah, they only sort of round Sheffield. They don't go. They go to Meadowhall, I think. I'm not sure.
So I've used the trams in Manchester City. Through Piccadilly, I think it is. That one of the stops?
No idea.
Pardon
Oh
me.
my gosh.
Disgusting.
Totally.
Well, we're in S2 and that's S9, so I don't know what that means.
Were you on GTA earlier, bro?
Was I? Don't think so, no, I wasn't.
Because it said you was online, but I sent you a game request, but you obviously never seen it.
What did I do the day? I was planning on doing that, man, but I never put it on. I had to set it up and then
It
jump.
says via car, it's about 10 minutes. Let's have a look. What's that?
If you look at it the now, Tim, it'll probably say I'm on Grand Theft Auto on it.
Yeah.
Walking, it's an hour and 7 minutes.
An hour and 7 minutes. Bloody hell.
Oh, and there'll be no chippies open at that time either. It'll be shut. Chip shop shut. Chinese shop shut. So I used to get a tray of curry sauce, right, and egg fried rice after the football.
All right.
See, that's the only problem with our chippy closing at 8 o'clock. There's nothing round doors.
No food, nothing else, no
Yeah.
foods.
You've got to go into town.
Mhm.
And having said that,
Yeah.
they're only 10 minutes away from town. But you know where I tell you our Asda is? There's KFC there, and a bit further up road, sort of like within spitting distance from here, there's a McDonald's. So, you know, knowing Chris, I know Chris, he'll be, you know, I want to get home. I've been, you know, out all day. You know what I mean? He'll be gasping for a coffee.
Get his feet up.
Do you know what his biggest concern will be? Do you know what his biggest concern will be? You.
Well, it's been sort of on and off FaceTiming me, Tim, to make sure I'm all right.
Yeah, and that's what he's wanting.
He even got me one of these ready meals, so I didn't have to cook for myself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they brought you back.
Well, you know, I don't want you sort of, because he knows that I'm not very good at, you know.
No.
He said all it's a matter of doing is putting it on a plate, warming it up, and you know you'll be set.
Yeah.
So he has thought about me, and he's sort of been FaceTiming me, you know, to make sure I'm all right. I make you laugh, you know, bro. You know, when I was talking to you earlier on, he actually rang me when I was messaging you before I rang you, and he FaceTimed me. So I'm tick-tapping away on my computer, and he went, "Oi!" He says, he says, "Who are you talking to?" I went, "I'm talking to your nose, bro." So he says, "Well, is he more important than what?"
Sorry, Chris.
It's what you call multitasking.
Yeah, these are all good at that.
Oh,
Tim's not so good at it, but he does it anyway.
What?
But
not
yeah,
good at what?
I was just laughing. You know what I mean? I said, "Well, put it this way," I says, "You've left me on my own all day." I says, "I'm talking to somebody."
Yeah.
But no, because he says to me, he says, "Well, you could have come with us." I went, "Yeah, right."
Fuck that.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not sitting in a, you know, coach.
Not sitting there going,
yeah. And then sitting, watching a football match, scrunched up in a seat,
Yeah.
not on your Nelly. I'd to stay here and fend for myself.
Yeah.
But that were good. And when he rung up and I were having a fag and a coffee, and he went, "You take them now."
He's had a smoke since.
Disgusting.
Eh?
He's obviously had a smoke since, is he not? Not at all.
Not since before I got on coach thing. While they were probably waiting for it stragglers, they probably got off and had a smoke while they were waiting. Yeah. But yeah.
One in each hand.
I said to him when hi Richard. I says to him when he gets back, he'll probably have one in every finger going.
How are we doing?
I'm good at you, Richard.
Right.
And Bros Inc. bad books with Chris because I was talking to Bro while he was FaceTiming me. Anyway, apart from that, but this is a good one. This is a good one. He says, "I'll ring you when we aren't tram." He says, "Get coffees, Uncle." I says, "Not be if I'm still live streaming at the time."
That coffee's lovely, Chris. Pure coffee. It's disgusting. It's the cheap shit. Jeanette, don't tell him. What is it you've got?
Dear, but
What coffee do you drink then, bro?
Anything. I'm lucky if
Any
I get
coffee?
a jar at all. I used to drink Nescafe all the time, right? But I don't know. I don't touch it.
All right, yeah.
Gary wants to know if you've got any stories to tell him, Richard.
No, I'm afraid not. Nothing new.
There's only two of us that drink coffee in my house, and that's me and my second eldest son. Sorry, Richard.
Well, we've got one of them Dolce Gustos.
That's the name I was trying to remember. See, I used to have one of them in the work,
right.
but the taxi office, the girl brought her one in. She'd be on the phones constant, like never get a break, and I'd be making coffees when she shouts me.
But you see, as a rule, we only have the latte macchiatos or the flat white. He's led quite a fruitful life, let's just say, Gary. He says his stories are brilliant.
I've had my moments.
Have you got a wee can of beer going there, Richard?
Sorry?
Have you got a can of beer going there?
Yes.
Lucky bugger.
At weekends.
Bit of Carling.
Carling Black Label.
Yes. First of many.
He has what you call a slip on a Friday and a Saturday.
Usually about 10 to more on a Saturday.
I'm cutting it right done. Cutting the beer right done. Because summer's coming and it's just going to be like, it could easily be every
drinking
night.
Again.
Huh?
Easy started drinking again.
What, the spirit?
No, beer.
I've seen him with beers,
70 days, I think, he didn't have a drink at all.
Not even the really weak beers that it was.
No.
None.
Nothing.
But then he
What? But you know what I mean? That's his prerogative, isn't it, really? You know what I mean? But
see, when I started last summer, I was drinking beers every night, even if it was just 2. And sometimes, if it was a Thursday or a Friday, I would get by 4 or 6, right? But it became every night. Even
that's what Azy said. He got as though he would like having a beer every night.
And then I thought, I'm putting the weight on as well with this. Putting a bit of a gut on because the calories in beer itself. And I thought, I'm not, and sometimes, right, say out of the 7 days of the week, 2 of the nights, I wouldn't really be wanting to drink, but I'd still be sitting with drinking. 2 pints. Aye.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, fuck that, man. I might put that to the side till I'm really craving for to go and get a pint or go and get a couple of cans at the shop.
Yeah, I think that's what spurred Azy to pack up because he got as though he were drinking every night. He were only beer, not, but he said it sort of got a routine where he'd be drinking every night.
I've never been a drinker. I've never drank as much as I have in the past year in all my life. I've drank beer and that and drank at the weekends and that, but I've never sat daily and sit and sup in it after a certain time.
But you see, this is the thing. I mean, if Chris is going out droning, that's one thing he'll never do. He'll never have a drink, or he might have one night before, because he don't like drinking and driving. You know what I mean? That's one of his things that he'd never do.
Mm-hmm.
And that were a thing when these coach tickets come up, and he says, "Well, at least I can have a pint and know that I ain't got to drive home."
Mm-hmm. It does affect it. Booze.
Pardon me.
Oh, I've gone deaf then.
So many times you've done the night, Tim, man. You've got away with about 7 there, right? You want to count how many you do in your stream, man, right? See how many bucks you do. I'm going to come up and panel and I'm going to burp or everything you say. I'm going to drink a full 2
then I'll
litre.
Gary says I don't drink now. I used to get depressed for days after I'd had a drink. But you know what I mean? Chris has never been one to drink. Well, yeah, when I say not drink to excess, but
Copious amounts.
like Christmas and New Year's, that's the only time he'll absolutely get pissed.
But even then, you just said, right, let's have a total piss up. And everybody actually drank responsibly. And still had a great night, you know, and there was the odd wee fucking flutter, but that was it. Everything went smooth.
Well, this is no word of a lie. I've still got this bottle down here, and this is that Malibu thing. Look, you can see how much is still in it. I've not touched it since New Year's Eve.
Mm-hmm. Who's that? Chapping at my window.
Hi, Lee.
Hello. Hello.
You look like you're in the studio.
It's a new camera angle now. That's how my new cameras.
Cameras
is totally different.
But that's one thing Chris would never do, Jay. Never drink and drive.
Well, I'm at it.
I thought he was driving. Did he go on a coach?
Yeah, he got tickets with coach. But it's very rarely I drink.
Yeah, I've got friends that have worked at Wembley this week today.
But it's gonna be. I don't envy Man United and is it Brighton? No, I don't know.
And Man United are going against stuffed. Brighton are on form.
It's London Marathon and all, and there's going to be like these protests and whatnot.
Yeah, because the security's been stepped up.
And what about all these people in this football ground when they do that 3 o'clock emergency alert? That's going to be a racket in there, isn't it?
It's a load of codswallop, that. It's a load of codswallop what they're doing with that. It's codswallop.
Yeah, Miss Chickett, same here. Last time I had a drink on New Year's. I'm not one for drinking in half. I couldn't do what Richard does and drink out of a can.
Oh, that's class.
That is class.
Last time I really
washing up the pot.
Pardon me, sorry.
I'm not a big drinker anyway. Well, we were talking about it other night. I have this cream and it's called Algisol, which it's like an analgesic cream. If you'd have seen Chris trying to put that on New Year's Eve, yeah, it was 1 step forward, 2 steps back. You know what I mean? It was one of them things.
Yeah.
But he can't take his drink back. Well, this is no word of a lie. He says he almost died. New Year's Eve, 1999, drinking too much at the club. But yeah, Chris will tell you, when we first met and we'd go out, I could drink him under the table. Honestly, I'd think nothing of drinking 12, 13 pints, and I'd still be sober. But sort of since we've had Callum and we stopped going out, and yeah, it
So,
just
was
don't
that
bother
back in the day when you were a bare knuckle champion?
me.
You used to fight all these
I'll tell you something. Chris could keep up with me, and he'd sort of like have half a pint left, and I'd say, "Oh, I can't drink anymore. Gives it here."
joke.
I'd finish it off. But
I tried that one night. We were all rushing out the pub one night, and I had like 3/4. We already had like 5 or 6, and we drowned it. See the 3 of us as soon as we stepped outside. Chucked a lot of it up, man. Like, oh, it was a waste of time, man.
But yeah, since Callum come along, and before we had Callum, you see, obviously we were kind of put it footloose and fancy free. We used to be going out all the time, but then I got pregnant with Callum, and
all that fun got up.
well, no, it was just the fact that we didn't go out as much, and I just got into I don't like drinking at home. I'd sooner go out and have a drink and socialise rather than sort of drink at home.
See, if I'm sitting drinking and if I'm sitting here chatting to people, whether it be on a live or a chat right with a couple of people, I can drink a lot more and it'll last longer. See, if I'm sitting in here myself and I'm just watching television and I'm having a drink, I'm sleeping within an hour and a half. Out cold, gone. I can't handle that sitting drinking myself. I'd like to, but I don't. I fall asleep.
But I mean, it's like everything else. People have got sort of, you can either drink or you can't, if you know what I mean.
The best nights I've had have been not what do you call it? You've not planned it. It's like a night that's just happened, and that's one of the
Sporadic. They're the best.
Aye, sporadic. That's a good word. Aye, that's the one I was looking for. And they were the craziest nights, man.
But Crypto's gonna, yeah.
Well, you're at BBC Radio there, Lee.
What?
He's getting set up for commentating on Chepstow.
We'll do Popmaster in a minute.
John McCriddick.
No, it's just my new camera angle that I've changed around because I go up on a lot of scratch build panels now. My head camera now is permanently on my workbench, so I've got the new camera angle because I do a lot of going on panels of scratch build, and I was on one yesterday, I was on one today, I'm on a lot of other scratch building stuff.
Tim, stop humming over the top of what Lee's saying.
I'll tell you something. It's been in my life. I get this song in my head, and I can't stop sort of, you know what I mean? I'll tell you the latest one, the Lloyd's TSB.
Yep.
This girl is on fire. And I can't stop sort of singing it in my mind.
Yeah.
And I love that song. Who sings it, by the way?
This girl. Is it not? No, it's not Aaliyah. Is it not the girl that sang New York?
Yeah, Alicia Keys.
Alicia Keys,
But yeah,
Okay, so
I love the song, and I didn't actually know who sang it, but they started using it as a Lloyd's TSB, like.
Who's that?
What?
Uh,
that was my Alexa.
I thought it was.
Oh.
Put it in a bucket of water, there's nothing but a pain.
Alright, you just made me think of a funny story. Chris has got Alexa on his phone, right? And
So here's a question: who's watching the coronation? Oh, sorry, carry on, Jeanette.
No, I'm not.
Who's watching the coronation? What?
I'm not neither.
I'd rather eat a coronation chicken
chicken
butty than
salad.
watch the coronation.
Right. Anyway, so he's got Alexa on his phone, right? and he were asking something, and he went, oh, he says, because it were a bloke's voice, and he says something about, oh, you prick. So then this guy pipes up and he says, a brick is that we're going on about this prick. Well, me and Chris just laughing. He went, no, I said prick, not a brick. We were getting you low down on what a brick's made of. But yeah, he said, no, I said prick, not brick. Well, it was just one of them things. I couldn't stop laughing.
No, I think they're bloody hard work, them Alexa. I ask it to wake me up in the morning, and Alexa has a line and forgets.
But yeah, you know, and we were on his way to, I think, to see Bella once, and our Callum went back and he just mentioned Liverpool, and it says, okay, rerouting to Liverpool, and Chris says, no, fuck it, won't go to Liverpool. Anyway, our Callum went back, and for some reason he mentioned Liverpool. And then all of a sudden it says, right, I am rerouting you to Liverpool.
Fuck off. No. Switch it off quick.
In Liverpool, listen. Yeah. It's like this. I often say, they're what they want to hear, if you know what I mean. So, you know, you can be yabbering away and it don't take a blind bit of notice. But then, you know, you say a specific word and, yeah, they put the 10 pennies worth in, you know what I mean?
Yep.
They're always listening, them bloody phones, because you talk about something during the day, then you get home and a bloody advert will pop
Yeah,
up.
yeah. I mean, our Callum's often asked me, he says, well, isn't it funny? He says, we've been talking about such and such. He says, and then next minute, I know, he says, this thing comes up on my phone, you know.
See, do you not think that it's getting a bit obvious right now that people are starting to notice these things, right? That you're getting suggested through comments onto your own device, not even typing it. But this has been happening way back, right? And I felt it when the Gulf War was going on. Sorry, Tim. I was talking again. Hang on, Tim.
Sorry, carry on. Sorry.
You're right. You're right about that. I just thought you weren't interested and you just burped out the crap of what I was saying. Right.
No, I am interested. Fucking hell.
Right. Televisions, right. I was selling televisions in a Partick shop right up in Dumbarton Road. And we had these big tube televisions, right. It was during the Gulf War, right. And then they started to sell these flat screens. Right, see, since the flat screens were being introduced, I think the whole system, nobody had a tube, big fuck-off tube television.
Yeah.
Within about 5 years after that, right, everyone had a flat thing that fitted at the back of the room. Yeah. So in those devices then, right, you yawning at me as well, Richard? I'm going to shut up. Man, everybody's yawning and burping. So back then, right, these televisions, I think they were built in with fucking devices.
Yeah, well, most like 4K televisions have got that Alexa built in.
Mm-hmm. But they've just introduced it. They've just let us know that we can control that now. But whereas they've been listening to us forever, since the 90s, with these new televisions.
Technology, but they haven't found out a way of being able to send Alexa to work for you and you stay at home.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like I always say, Richard. You know, they got how can I put it? When COVID were around, within months they got a vaccination for it. Now, how long's cancer been around? Yet they still ain't got a cure for cancer.
No. Mm-hmm. God knows. I mean, you should have sorted that out by now, wouldn't you? Wouldn't you?
That's controversial. Because see, when the thing you're talking about started, I'm talking again. Every time I speak, he burps.
It's not. I don't do it on purpose.
Yeah, it's subconsciously intentional.
I think as well as if you're also if you're unfortunate enough to get cancer, and you're very wealthy, you can pay for these trial treatments that they can't afford. You know what I mean? Which is a bit unfair, really.
But this is the thing as well, Richard. Chris's auntie, she had cancer for years, and I'm talking about it. You know, it should go in remission, it come back, get in remission, come back. Now, she went through radiotherapy, she went through chemotherapy, and she got contact. And this is the good thing about living in Sheffield. She got contacted. Oh, we've got this new drug trialing. You know what I mean? Do you want to get to go? So she says, well, basically, I've got nothing to lose. And she's been in remission for a good 5-10 years now.
Yeah.
Since going on this drug trial. And it weren't private, it were, yeah.
Yeah, the guy I know, he was at Christie's, and he had bowel cancer, and they said he was going to have one of these, you know, these, I don't know what you call them. These
Stoma bags.
Correct. And he said, no way. He said, I don't want that. He said, no chance. And she said, well, there's no other way, really. And she says, I mean, they have a thing in America where they use some special stuff, whatever it is, but they said, we can't buy it because we haven't got the money. And he paid for it himself, and it cost him 27 grand. And he's clear now, and has been for the last 20 odd years. You know what I mean?
There's been a bit of contention just lately about, you know, a lot of these that have Bupa and private medical insurance. Basically, they're saying, well, so much for going private because you're having to wait as long to see a specialist by going private as you would the NHS. So that's saying something.
But the thing is, with private, you're getting the best of utensils and equipment, whereas the NHS is scrimping and scraping with shit fucking.
And also that most of private operations are actually done in the same hospital by the same surgeon as overtime.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's just lining their pockets with a bit of extra cash. And I know that is a fact, Richard, that they're done by the same surgeons and they're done it same hospital.
Oh, it is. It's done overtime.
It's
done as they do it as overtime. And they get extra cash for it. And when you let on bed and you've still got pipes in you, they throw invoice on bed next year. I've seen it.
This is the thing. After principle, I'd never ever go private. And that is the principle of the fact that most of those have worked all their life up until retiring. They're on about retirement age up down to 70. You imagine that person started working at 15, 16, and they've worked all their life, paid national insurance all their life. You think how much they paid into the system.
Oh yeah.
So why the heck would I pay for something when I've paid into the system all my life?
I think most normal people don't go private, but I think if you're like a very rich person, you probably would.
The rich live longer. Do you know why the rich live longer? Because they've got access to better health, right? Oh, yeah. They've also got access to the better foods.
Better food, everything.
See, the thing about going and saving money, you're buying non-sustainable foods, whereas if you have to go to Sainsbury's or the bigger stores and purchase decent fucking sustainable food.
Royal family live to a ripe old age because they're eating freshly shot stuff that morning, you know.
Made a difference.
But this is sort of what I'm saying. I went to doctors once, and I don't know what it were, and she said, "Oh, you can buy it at chemist for this." I said, "Look," I says, "I get my prescriptions for nothing because I've got an underactive thyroid. That is one of the conditions that you get your prescriptions free for the rest of your life." Right, and I says to her, I says, out of principle, I says, if I can get them on prescription, I'll get them on prescription. I says, and then it not cost me nothing. I says, I've worked all my life. I says, I've paid into the system. I says, and I begrudge paying. It might just, it might be just, £1 something in chemist, but out of principle, I get my prescriptions for nothing. So why would I pay for something that I can get for nothing on a prescription?
Ian, there's a lot of stuff they took off prescription as well. I mean, my mum used to get that Voltarol, and they won't give you that now on prescription Voltarol.
I have
Jackie
that.
gets it.
Tell Algisol, and that I get that on prescription.
Yeah, they've removed it. They have here, and you can't get it now. I get it off Amazon because it's cheaper on Amazon than chemist.
That Algisol you can get. I have 3 tubes every month, and that's a local analgesic. So yeah, you know what I mean. And I swear by it. I mean, I've tried that Voltarol, I've tried that gel stuff, and it's absolute cat in my estimation.
Yeah,
This Algisol is good stuff. So I'll have to send it to you.
yeah.
But it is good stuff. But yeah, and you know, it's the doctor, when I said that to her, why should I pay for something that I can get on prescription? She was sort of sat there, you know, well, yeah, it's costing, you know, it's costing our National Health Service this, that, and other. I says, look, I says, I've paid all my life, I says, into the NHS through my national insurance. I says, even when I've had young kids, I've gone out to work, sometimes full time. So she didn't know what to say when I said that, because she knew, well, all right, I'm not going to pay for something that I can get for nothing.
Yeah, I agree. I wouldn't. I pay that annual thing, mate, to make it cheaper. You know, that once a year certificate thing.
Yeah, my mum used to do that. But you see, because I've got an underactive thyroid, and I have to take that for the rest of my life. In essence, I get my prescriptions for the rest of my life for nothing. That is one of the, you know, the health conditions that there's certain sort of criteria.
Good night, Miss.
Yeah. Yeah. See you later, Miss Chick.
Right, Miss Chick.
See you later, Miss Chick.
What's he bought you, Gordo? He's just turned up with a present for his car. Not some fluffy dice, is it?
Well, them dogs
Or an air freshener.
A steering wheel.
Gordo's gone up in world. He's got a Jag now.
I used to have a Jag, almost similar to Gordo's.
Pardon me.
Nearly.
And you too, Miss Chick. But yeah, ooh, one of them mesh grill things for front on it. Hey, oh, what's Richard pressed now?
No, wrong
Hey,
button.
Richard's dropped off. Richard's pressed the wrong button.
His big fat thumbs.
But yeah, I not. If I don't have to pay for it, I won't. Just
I
to
pressed the wrong button somewhere.
He's back.
Logo, didn't he? He flashed your logo. That's what he done, you know.
Gordo says it's a question of don't ask where he got it from. Oh dear. Is somebody missing the front mesh?
Is it off a Jaguar or is it a Rolls Royce front end you've got?
Oh dear.
I've seen that been done before with Volkswagen Beetles. Front end, yeah, Rolls Royce on the front.
But yeah, somebody's missing the front sports mesh.
That was a Jag I used to have. Whatever it is.
Alright.
That's nice, that, Richard.
All right, that. I used to like that guy. The 4-wheel drive, 3 litre. All right.
Oh, there's a bucket for it. Oh dear. You just have to.
Have you done any more on the layout, Richard?
Oh,
It's-
I don't
it's
know.
not-
All sorts.
From next street.
So bloody fiddly though. Really fiddly.
Compared to Double O, yes.
Very small. Everything's tiny.
Yeah, it is.
Really is. Hard work.
I hold my hand up to anyone that models Engage.
It's very, very small, but everything's bloody expensive.
That's it.
Yeah, you can have a Double O Engage. You cram a lot more into Engage.
Well,
But it's a lot
why I went
smaller
for
and more.
Engage, 'cause, you know, it's on an 8x4 board. If I'd have done it in double O, I wouldn't have got.
Yeah,
nowhere
you can
near
have a lot of more into it. No, you wouldn't. It's like I know a YouTuber that's on YouTube.
Sound like a Dalek, Lee.
I know, that's what I
Angels
was
of Crow.
thinking, man. Right, no.
Yeah, I am a Dalek. I am a Dalek.
Is it your sound from your camera? Well, I've been buying stuff off Amazon. No exciting,
I know what it
really.
is.
I've ordered 150
Now I've lost
muffin
cameras.
cases,
Fuck.
and
50 muffin cases.
last minute. You see, I like
Last
to buy
minute.
things sort of important. You know what I mean? You're not fanning about. I tell you what else I bought, and all some of that squeezable black treacle.
Aye, you just heat it up in a hot water. And
You just tip it. You know where with tin and
you got to scoop it up.
and it's going everywhere. Well,
There we
this
go.
you just pour it out, and jobs are good in.
That's some amount of mess saved.
Oh, Gordo says I know where he's got it from. There's an abandoned car lot with cars on it.
Tim, don't be in a helicopter. Oh my god, I thought he was going to do it.
No one's been spotted on the site. What?
But Tim was going to pull out a helicopter there.
No.
That's it. That's enough.
It's standing back. So
Like Dalek. Oh,
Watch your eyes, ladies. Ah.
your camera's a bit.
like garlic now.
It sounds all right now, but it's
Yeah,
like in a
come on.
smoky room.
It looks like you're having about 40 fags at
No,
once.
it's
which
not.
is-
It's not. It's because it's my workbench light. It's my workbench light you see now, because the light above it. That's what the problem is. It'll be okay now. It was the light above it, because that can't really be my face camera no more. It's set too high.
Yeah, we can see over the top of your glasses now. See off the top of your glasses there, man.
But yeah,
Oh, I'm going off in a minute. I need to go to bed. I didn't go to bed last night till 2 o'clock.
hey, we were in London odd then. Lee, because we're up at 6 this
I was
morning.
on. I come off a live stream 1 o'clock this
Time.
morning.
That was 3 times they came off that fucking live panel.
What
There
time
you
is
go.
that? 3 quarter past an
3,
hour.
4 past and 20 past.
I've come off. I thought you were going to break into song then.
Well, I've not heard a song like that, Richard.
That was a good video you put out just before, Richard.
Wait, I can't remember which one. I put a few up today.
Yeah,
Train.
the last one.
I put a steam train one up, yeah.
Yeah, that's the one I'm on about.
Yeah, I think there's something else gone up since then.
Yeah, there was a stream train.
Matron.
Yeah, put 3
Gary
up.
says it was stuff to rap. I thought he was going to start rapping.
Could be worse. Could be the best song that's out there is the Anfield rap.
That's all, folks.
But I've not heard a note from Chris. It says last active 28 minutes ago. So I'm assuming he's sort of nearly home.
I was going to say, you're going
Hi, Tommy. What time do you call this?
I call it 11:21 p.m.
He's not here. He's been to Wembley, so he's not back yet. Check on the mic.
How you doing? Yeah.
But yeah, he's been to the old Wembley, Tommy, even though they lost. But hey ho. But he could say he's took Callum to Wembley now, and
yeah,
it's an experience. They probably, you know, might
Never
be years
forget.
before they get there again. So. God, it's spelt with a silent C.
They'll be in Premier League in 3 months' time, 4 months' time.
They've only got to win on Wednesday, and they're up.
Yeah.
If they win against West Brom on Wednesday, they're up.
They're going up. Whether they win or not on Wednesday, they can't possibly lose it from there now.
I see Wrexham have been promoted.
Have they?
Oh, God. Do you know?
Yes, they have. Yeah.
Don't mention Wrexham while Chris is here, Tim. One word. Don't mention Wrexham.
Oh,
It's
okay.
pissed
Wrexham
off.
have well been promoted. I don't.
They're going on about Wrexham this and Wrexham that, and it's only because Ryan Reynolds bought the club that, yeah. And Chris says,
Yeah.
no mention
Yeah.
about us, you know, we on brink are going up and to Premier League, but yet no, they're going on about fucking Wrexham. Gary says Wrexham. So, don't mention Wrexham while Chris is about. Don't mention it at all.
No,
'Cause it-
no.
yeah. Like lighting the touch paper and standing back.
Oh, you'll need to edit that. You'll need to edit that bit out.
Well,
Then,
you've
Jeanette, 'cause
said
you'll
that,
probably
we
watch
were-
the stream
Chris
back later.
walks in now, we're all going to say, isn't it bloody grand
No.
Wrexham going up? Bloody hell.
I hope you're forgetting Richard. I've got to live with him.
Bloody Wrexham, they've done well at
Yeah.
Wrexham. Bloody hell, what a team.
Can you remember the old phone chat lines back in the 80s? Really?
No, I have no idea what they're talking about, Jude.
Gary
Tim.
says Wrexham.
Do you know what?
It's only
what
for
they're
the
talking about?
fact that Ryan Reynolds and this other
No, I don't
American
know what they're
actor
talking about.
have bought the club. You know what I mean?
Oh.
Pardon me. Yeah.
That's because I spoke to Tim. Sorry.
No,
Probably.
BT used to landline chat lines. No.
Have you not seen the documentary about those two Hollywood stars? There's a documentary about how they're appearing on.
I've not seen it, no.
They've got no knowledge of football whatsoever.
No.
Don't even know
That Ryan Reynolds has even bought Arth near Wrexham. Well,
It's just
wherever.
a rich game they're playing. They can afford to piss off with this at any point, but if they do, Wrexham will be gone.
Up Shit Creek we have to paddle.
It'll be gone. It'll not become a team anymore. It'll be popped off. Just because they wanted to come over and play with a kind of semi-stable country team that
Yeah.
was doing its own thing.
They wanted the adulation and the accolation that we millionaires, we took over a non-league club.
Yeah.
You know
There
what I
was a
mean? They wanted the adulation and the accolation that it's because we've bought the club and done this, that, and other, and spent this, that, and other that they're going
Yeah,
up.
to be fair, that's happening with every club. That I mean, you only need to look at Newcastle. Bloody hell, you know they've come too, and it's only because they've been bought by a lot of Arabs. You know what I mean?
Well, see do you ever heard of Gretna? You know where Gretna is, right?
Yeah.
And they had a football team. and they were owned by a rich dude that if the boys got the reward that week, say you scored a hat-trick or you made the game the winner, you got the bonus, right? And the bonus was the keys to his fucking XK8, his Jag. You'd say, there you go, that's that for the week. You're playing a bit in that. So the whole team were getting funded internally by the manager, as well as wee tricks like that. It's big pays they were getting, right? And they climbed up the league. And then the managers pulled it. And the next guy that came in didn't have those rewards. So they all fell to bits and became bankrupt, and Gretna doesn't exist anymore.
But this is another thing. Ex-Man United player Wes Brown has had to declare himself bankrupt. And Chris says, how the fuck can he be bankrupt? He says, like £50,000 a week for playing football. You know what I mean? I don't know.
They blow it all on gambling, drugs and prostitutes, don't they?
But see, the Scottish football, I think that Rangers and Celtic are sitting like £200 and £300 million in debt, right? In the red. I know this because St Mirren Football Club from Paisley were the most successful football club in the whole of the UK because they were in the black. Not by much, but they were. It's just business. If they've got collateral to say that they've just spent so many millions, then they are worth so many millions, so they've got that collateral, and then they go to what you said earlier, they go fucking gambling or go and invest in it.
But this is the thing, Sheffield United currently is owned by somebody called Prince Abdullah, right? Now, the in process of somebody called, I forget what his name is, Mombasi or wherever it is, taking over.
Do you know who owns Aston? Do you know who owns Aston though? It's Arabs that own Aston now.
It's like this.
I'll take with the
no, they got bought out by Arabs that own a petrol station.
It's like this. This Prince Abdullah, he has got another club. It's like a Sheffield United out in China or somewhere, stuff like that. And he just doesn't want to spend the money. Now, there were Prince Abdullah and this other fella, English fella, co-owned it. Now, this English fella wanted short. So, this Prince Abdullah bought his shares. But now this Umbasi or whatever his name is, he's on about bike club. Now, you're not telling me that this Prince Abdullah has not got the cash to spend on.
Why would anybody else come anywhere near Britain now after they froze Chelsea's gig? Yeah, the British government went for the Russian, whatever his name is, the Abramovich.
Yeah, Abramovich. Yeah,
froze his shit. A billionaire froze it. Your team is now taken, and we own it. Bang. Who else would? Even the Arab Emirates fellas, right? If they came over here, why would they? Because they know the British government could go at.
I mean, just check, for instance, Man City. all financial comings and goings there, they under investigation. So there's some amiss somewhere.
Think about how big the football is.
Yeah, Asda's owned by the EG Group, which is two Blackburn brothers.
Wow, that's nice.
Mohsin and Zuba Arsa. And they didn't have two halfpennies to rub together in two.
Arsa?
Arsa brothers, yeah, they're called the Arsa brothers.
He said Arsa.
They only live about 3 miles from me, and they didn't have two halfpennies to rub together in 2016, and now they own petrol stations.
There's been a lot about this guy that's supposedly taking or buying Sheffield United.
What Asda for 6.8 billion.
This is the thing. The FA have to investigate and make sure he's got the funds to buy it. Otherwise, it's a no from me sort of thing. If they say he's not financially secure and he ain't got the money or the means to to buy it, then yeah, it's a no from FA.
Here's the thing, right? See, there's 2 bids in for Manchester United, one from Qatar and one from somebody else. And the second, the guy that owns prick, excuse me, see the guy that owns Ineos. See the guy that owns Ineos. He wants to buy the club, but the Glaciers want to contain a 6.9. The Glaciers want to keep a 6.9% share in Manchester United. And then the other guy from Qatar, he wants to buy the full club.
Yeah.
But it swings and roundabouts because
Go on.
So this is the thing, haven't you noticed though, that all these British clubs are being taken over by princes and somebody from Qatar or Dubai, or
I mean,
you know what I mean?
It's like you said before. Look where Manchester City were a few years ago, right? And now look where they are. It's true what they say. Money talks.
Yeah.
Money talks. Bullshit walks.
It all depends on where that money's come from, if you know what I mean.
Doesn't exist. That amount of money doesn't exist. It's mad. They're talking about the numbers and it's not even there.
No.
Where are they going to store that amount of stuff, man? Is not a warehouse big enough?
What are you eating now, Richard?
Salt and vinegar guys.
Let's have a look.
Crinkly McCoys.
Oh, McCoys, yeah. You've opened them up wrong end.
Upside down.
Jay says they're all corrupt. Swings
It's
and
like when the
roundabouts.
It's like when the Glaciers first bought Manchester United. They bought it with their own money. They bought it with a bank loan.
Yeah. So they weren't actually financially stable because they got to pay that.
No.
Yeah.
That's what that's what I don't understand. How they're allowed to buy Manchester United club on a bank loan?
Because it's electronic. It's
That's the thing.
electronic transactions. It's nothing. It doesn't exist. None of it exists. That's the thing. The money doesn't even exist. You might hold a couple of 20s in your hand, but compare that to the alleged stockpile of billions they've got. Yeah, you need to fucking, for the Glaziers to walk up and buy Manchester United, you'd need about 3 Arctic lorries full of money. To say here, but I've got 3 Arctics out there, man, full of dollars, man. You're going to give us a case of keys to Manchester.
What sweeties did you have other night, Gordo? Barrett's Wham. Ooh.
Wham.
Space babies. Mm-hmm.
Christ.
But yeah, you know what I mean. It's the same as money talks. You know what I mean. And if you've got the wherewithal to buy the big clubs, then you know what I mean.
And if the government let you,
it's like this. You look at all the teams that are in Premier League, right? There's what they call the top 4.
no, nobody's getting them.
Yeah.
Do you know? See, when you go to buy a Ferrari, do you know they put you on a list for 10 years and they decide if you're getting one? Think about the 4 top teams. Think anybody's going to walk in and say, "I'll buy Liverpool," or "I'll buy Man City," or "I'll buy Tottenham," or whatever the big clubs are? No chance.
Says they like jelly. You're right, Lee. Thumbs up. Thumbs up.
Thanks.
They're
Have me
all-
on.
they're
Bang it on.
businesses now, these football clubs. They're all business.
Gordo says they like jelly babies, but super sour.
I used to love it, but I don't now because of the amount of adverts that are on the billboards and stuff. It's just, you can't even see the strips anymore. It's becoming like an F1 top they're wearing.
Long gone are the days when football players used to have jobs.
Aye.
Tommy says vast majority of money does not exist in fit physical. I agree with that, Tommy. It's different. It's different what's on paper to what's actually in bank, if you know what I mean.
are in your hand.
Yeah, Gordo.
Gordo says he's been on
Gordo
list for
says he's been on the
Ferrari
Ferrari
for
list
30
for 30
years and still not.
Yes, they're not the phone call yet. I know it's a fucking.
But this is the thing. It's like I've always said, and it's like the pretty woman, is it, scenario? You know, when she was in that shop and they looked down at the noses at her.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
And whereas she's actually loaded.
Yeah. You know what I
Jumping
mean?
in it.
It's that sort of scenario. Unless you show them your bank balance, you know what I mean? Let's say, for instance, we want lottery tomorrow, and you've got the money to buy whatever car you want, whatever. You know what I mean?
Mm.
And you go into a showroom to buy, let's say, a Porsche or whatever. They'd look down your nose at you.
If you wanted to drive out the door with it,
Yeah.
like today, that's what you wanted to put it in the back of a trailer and take it. They would look at you and say, even if you did pull out the money, they would still look at you as if. But then, see what people forget, right? And I see them every day. See when you see a guy driving by in a tractor, right? Most chances are, if he's an old man, he's most likely to be a multi-millionaire.
Now, there's no poor farmers, that's for sure.
You know, they're absolutely heavily invested in millions and millions of pounds.
And they're all tight-fisted bastards.
Huh? They've got a different
it,
value.
you know what I mean? And unless you actually show them the money, so to speak, you know, such as me and you, they just look down your nose at you and say, just a commoner from Sheffield or wherever you live. You know what I mean?
More wealthier people actually look more scruffier. And those
Either
that try to look wealthy tend to be just actors.
They're lower middle class. The ones that are trying to be the.
We used to have a guy who played in our snooker team called Jack. And he owned a double glazing company, and he was mega rich. And he had a Bentley, and he used to wear these horrible fawn pants, this leather jacket that must have been 50-year-old. He had piss stains on his pants, and people used to look at him when he was playing snooker and think, who's that scruffy bugger? And then when he walked outside pub and got in his brand new Bentley, you should have seen the bloody faces to him. And he'd be there always with a fag in his gob. Bloody Bentley full of bloody cigarette ash and all sorts. And you know, you just would not believe he were mega rich.
There's a difference between rich and old money.
Yeah.
You know, like
there's rich people, there's people who can, there's scruffy folk and those who can afford to look scruffy.
But I mean, it's like this. Let's sort of people that have worked all their life, worked hard and got business know-how up here, that is honest, what I call honest money. They've not had it get them to a, you know, or had a silver spoon shoved up their arse, you know what I mean? They've worked for that money. They've worked for every penny.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And this is what I'm saying.
They always say if you can tell somebody's coming to money, that money will be gone in no time.
It'll disappear, yeah. And see, the old money is the thing that has been.
People who are canny with it don't show it.
See, people that are sitting there and they're sustaining that wealth, most likely they've got 40 people or 50, 60 people underneath them that they're feeding with work. So that comes back. So they've got that business head on. They're not just running away and going, I'm going to open a yard, get a fucking scrap yard going, and just money goes.
Yeah, that's it.
I mean, like Gordo's just said, he's got a mate that's a multi-millionaire, but he's as tight as the duck's arse. You know what I mean? And that is a typical millionaire that's worked their arses off all their life to get where they are today. Not just, you know what I mean? That's typical of today's society. They just want it handing to them on a plate.
Oh yeah, it just
or let's say, for instance, the privileged. You know what I mean? That have never had to work a day in their life, and they seem to think that they've got this complex where everybody owes them. You know what I mean? That they, you know.
Yeah. It's annoys me where it's been on news over the past couple of weeks complaining about that Prime Minister's wife being a multi-billionaire. She's made the money. She's made it. You know what I mean? They've made that money. They haven't been given it. They've made that money. When everybody's born, everybody has the same chances.
I think the problem lying there is that most politicians are from money. Just she's got a bit more.
Yeah.
You'd want somebody like, I'm not choosing anybody's fucking politician's favouritism, but somebody like Corden that looked like a working class man who put up every fucking time he opened his mouth. It was an argument against the establishment. So they fought him.
And it's like, I mean, they have this thing against Richard Branson. He lived on a council estate. He started with nothing. You know what I mean? And yet people turn on him, rich bastard. This
is what I'm saying, Richard.
You know, crime to be rich in today's world.
Started with nothing and the way up, but now they're ripping him to shreds because he's a multi-millionaire. Not that he's come from this council estate with, you know, all ours God sends and been business savvy with his money. You know, they don't see that.
Oh, no. They only cherry pick the bits they can take the piss out of. You've got to remember, if there were no rich people, none of us lot would exist. We wouldn't exist. You need the rich people to sort the businesses out. You know, without rich people...
That's how they gave Trump a hard time, because he was a smarter businessman than anybody else that was in.
Yeah, it's a crime to be rich in this country. And, you know, they keep saying they're going to put the tax up. Why should they be punished? Why should they pay?
This is it. Gordon says he bought tea, coffee, sugar, milk and toilet roll for the office and he took it home with him this month. And he used to go rummaging in cars for loose change. You know what I mean? This is what I'm saying. He says he only became a millionaire after he sold his haulage company. But this is what we're saying. He's built that haulage company up from nothing.
Correct.
And when the timing is right and he knew he could get top dollar for it, that's when you decide to sell.
Do you know what would be a good one? Right, I was just sitting thinking what you were saying earlier. See if Richard Branson ran this country for 5-10 years or something like that, how quickly would it be back on its feet?
Well, he's tried to do lottery loads of times, but they won't let him do it.
They won't let him because he's too smart to be running this country. He needs to be. If you want to run this country, you need to be a yes man, because you're not running the country. You're just taking orders to keep the same thing running that's been running for the past 100 years.
Everybody that's rich seems to get punished, and I just don't get it. And it's just
they're driving out the rich people, so it's just a country of poor cunts.
Yeah,
I don't understand.
And then we all get held to ransom with food and medicine and education and health by the military.
Tommy says Branson borrowed the money off his aunt to start his record company. She charged him interest on it. He took the gamble. But this is what we're saying, Tommy. You know what I mean? Coming from a council estate, he borrowed money to start his business, and look at it now.
Yeah. My brother did the same thing. He borrowed 400 quid off his mum to buy his first bits and bats to start working for himself. And he's had his own business since 1986. And now he employs 20 odd people, which I know is not a massive amount, but he's kept them all employed all them years and kept them all.
That's it. That's it.
That's exactly what it's about. He's gone straight to heaven, knowing that he's supported out of the 40 workers he's had. Imagine there was a wife and 2 kids attached to each one of them. So times 40 by 3, which is 120 different people.
Never had to make anybody redundant or anything. Always kept.
And sort of borrowed 400 quid, and he started at 400 quid.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, he's borrowed, I think it was 400 quid off my mum to buy some gas bottles, some oxyacetylene bottles and stuff. And he started working out of his shed at home. Then he just rented a little industrial unit, and he took another lad on, and then he took another lad on, and then he took another lad on, and took another, and then he bought the unit, another unit somewhere. Then the unit came empty next door. Then the one next door came empty, and he bought the whole industrial estate. So now it's all his business in that whole industrial estate. You know what I mean? And there's 20 people, and they're all employed, and they have been for years.
Well, I've hung on waiting for Chris to come back, but I ain't had message a note, so I'm going to call it a night, guys. 12:15. So thank you, bro, Tim and Richard, for all coming up on the panel, and I'll see you on the next one. Are you going live tomorrow, Tim?
Yes, I'm going live tomorrow.
So yeah, Tim's going live tomorrow. So I'll see you all on the next one, guys, and thank you for your support. I do appreciate it, and my next one will be Monday. So see you all later. Bye.
Bye. Awesome. That was awesome.